Evening, new blood. You've been asleep for a while now. I found you laid out in some back alleyway. You can't remember what happened, can you? It's all a haze. However, I am sure you can remember how it ended. I've heard it all before. Sometimes it's an accident, getting caught up in intense emotions, desperation, or loneliness. Other times it's out of necessity, a need for a pawn or assistant. Our kind is very enigmatic, if anything. You've experienced something profound, something most never will. We call it the embrace. Some view it as a gift, an ascendance from mortal fragility. To others it's a curse, a descent into a life of eternal thirst. But whatever it is, there's no denying the reality. That cold sensation, the newfound clarity, even the strangeness of your own heartbeat, or lack thereof. Someone, whether by malice, loneliness, or intent, has forever changed your fate. Deep down, there's a part of you that already understands, isn't there? An instinct, perhaps. You are one of us now, a vampire. Kindred. That's what we call ourselves. Our way of life is not like the tales or movies you've seen. While some stories of our kind get some things right, they often miss the mark by design. Yes, we're unaging, beyond the reach of natural demise. Food, air, they no longer sustain you. Your heart stilled, your breath ceased, your skin's cold to the touch, yet here you are, thinking, speaking, moving. To keep going, to keep existing, you'll need vitae. Human blood, mostly. The act of drawing this sustenance is termed the kiss. It's more than a mere bite, but a shared ecstasy between the kindred and the Caine. Numerous humans, captivated by the intensity of this exchange, willingly submit themselves, becoming ensnared in this fatal addiction. Some of our kind prefer animals, a less potent but passable substitute. Some elders have developed more exotic tastes, even indulging in the vitae of other kindred. Many of the most ancient among us are even restricted to this practice, relying solely on the blood of other kindred for sustenance. Over time, you'll notice changes. Blood will overtake most of your bodily fluids. When your emotions surge like fear or sorrow, it's blood that will manifest in your tears or sweat. But blood, it does more than just sustain. As a kindred, you can channel it, guide it, use it to simulate life's signs, the flush of skin, the illusion of breath. It grants us the ability to heal rapidly, to enhance our strength, speed, and endurance momentarily. We have retractable fangs, a tool designed for feeding, after which the evidence vanishes, ensuring our secret remains just that. It's a protective guise, keeping the uninitiated oblivious to the mysteries of the night. In truth, we aren't the monsters or the nightmares tales paint us to be. Early on, you'll find much of your old self still within, still lingering, but with the unceasing hunger for vitae and the difficult decisions it pushes upon us, maintaining a hold on what was once your humanity can be an eternal struggle. Some succeed, finding solace and grounding in a purpose or connection, but many fall to the darkness. As the years turn to centuries, they become estranged from the world of the living, growing detached and more strategic in their thinking. The passage of time molds them, rendering mortal lives inconsequential, as one might assume with our kind. The sun is indeed an adversary to be wary of. We're creatures of the night, bound to the shadows as day breaks. Tales of garlic, fears of running water, and aversion to crosses, mostly stories, crafted by our own to mislead mortals who might encounter us. But take heed, genuine belief in a sacred symbol can carry power. A stake to the heart won't end us, but they'll render a kindred motionless until freed from their grasp. The life you once knew, the world you held close, it won't align with what you are now. The insatiable need for blood will drive a wedge between you and those you once loved. You'll see them grow old as you stay the same, untouched by time. Many suggest it's best to sever ties to that past, lest it becomes a constant, painful reminder of the eternal curse we bear. I understand that this will be hard on you, but it is a necessary step that you will need to take. Pay heed, new blood. Embracing the life of a kindred is a complex tapestry of ups and downs. While external threats abound, the most potent danger to your survival is yourself. Within every one of us dwells a relentless force, a primal drive we've come to recognize as the beast. I have already satiated your beast for now, but it is always lurking. It craves, anchored by three innate desires: the urge to hunt, the thirst to consume, and the need for respite. It's that persistent voice, nudging us towards our darker impulses, often guiding us down paths we'd never have ventured before, nor want to. In its grip, you can be overtaken by a fervor, driven by sheer instinct, whether that manifests as aggression or escape. But the beast isn't merely a thoughtless entity, it's sly. It lingers, understanding that as nights roll on, it gradually erodes your remaining humanity. Especially in the beginning, it might seem almost innocuous, satisfied with small triumphs, but every such victory empowers it further. And as the years stretch out, if unchecked, the core of who you are diminishes. This descent leaves you in a condition known as wassail, where the beast within takes over completely, steering your every action and thought. The challenge is perpetual, resisting that unending dance of pursuit, consumption, and solace. The beast is something that drags on every one of our kind. Most go their entire unlife never fully understanding their beast. It is hard to say if you will ever conquer it, but being aware of its hunger is the first step. A new fledgling like you might feel invincible with those fresh vampiric gifts, but don't be deceived. The world you've entered is filled with ancients who've tread this dark path long before you. Elders, with centuries under their belts, dictate the rules here. The Kindred's political arena isn't just about power. It's a web woven from old grudges, intricate plots, and dangerous rivalries. Many newcomers, brimming with newfound power and ignorance, become mere disposable tools in the hands of these seasoned players. I'd rather you not be another name in that long list. This ever-shifting game where trust is as unstable as a wisp of smoke is called the Jyhad. The Jyhad is a secret war between ancient powers within kindred society. It's what defines and dictates the intricate dance of relationships and power struggles among our kind. By nature, most kindred are solitary, always looking out for themselves, seeing others as threats to the limited sustenance this world offers. Every new kindred thickens the plot, makes survival a tad more complicated. The intricacies of our society, woven with sect rivalries, clan politics, and tales of cities long past, have turned simple competition into a maze of manipulations and stratagems. Trust is a rare coin, and many kindred would deceive rather than deal in honesty. With vendettas that trace back ages, these aren't mere squabbles over territory, but events that have steered history itself. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. A quote I am sure you've heard. This Jyhad, it's a grand contest, a quest for supremacy, perhaps too vast for a new blood like you to grasp. It's vital you recognize its existence, but for now, know that you're a small piece on a vast board. Stay in the shadows, away from the main players, and they'll likely pass you by. While the depths and secrets of the kindred world might still be foreign to a fledgling like you certainly understand the modern era and its many intricacies. Unlike many of the elder kindred, rooted in past centuries, you are a child of the digital age. You know the ins and outs of social media, online databases, and real-time communication. The ability to swiftly harness and disseminate information in today's tech-driven landscape is a powerful asset. Many elders, products of slower times, struggle to grasp this swift information age. Your natural proficiency with contemporary tools like smartphones grants you a unique edge, but tread with caution, for every tool is a double-edged sword. The social structure of the kindred is distinguished by various categorizations and affiliations. For you to properly interact and navigate our society, you'll need to understand the hierarchy within it. A significant factor in determining your position within this society is a combination of age and generation, which traces how far removed you are from Caine, the supposed original progenitor of our kind. As a fledgling, your entrance into our world is akin to a nascent being taking its first breaths. At this stage, your actions are interwoven with those of your sire, in this case, me. The responsibility of your actions rests upon their shoulders, guiding you until you can confidently stride amidst the kindred. Clans vary in their guardianship of fledglings. While some act as doting overseers, nurturing for prolonged durations, others believe in the strength of swift independence, urging fledglings to chart their courses promptly. Once you've garnered a measure of recognition, your status elevates to that of a neonate. This newfound identity is rooted in the perception of the wider kindred community, where they recognize you for your independent endeavors, no longer merely an offshoot of your sire's lineage. The ancillae, seasoned by the sands of time spanning decades, hold a deeper resonance within the kindred dynamics. Their prolonged immersion grants them a more nuanced grasp of our societal intricacies. They've crossed milestones, both overt and subtle, that define their standing. Yet, interpretations of these milestones can differ, especially across sects like the Camarilla and Sabbat, leading to potential fissures in mutual recognition and understanding. Elders are kindred who have lived centuries, holding a substantial sway in kindred matters. But Methuselahs, those who have seen millennia pass, are almost enigmas. Their age makes them wary, often staying on the sidelines, submerged in torpor, or moving the chess pieces from the shadows. This layered web forms the society you've now entered, a labyrinth of power, allegiances, and ancient prophecies. Understanding this is an important step into our world. Where we come from is a subject of much discussion among our kind. Many point to the biblical figure Caine, who faced divine punishment for the murder of his brother Abel. It is said that from this act, Caine became the world's first vampire. The details of this account vary, but many among us find truth in its foundation. The story of Caine is rich and complex, but I'll outline the essentials for now. Upon God's curse, Caine found himself in the land of Nod. It was here he birthed the second generation of our kind, and though the exact number remains debated, 3 stand out: Enoch, Irad, and Zillah. Enoch, dubbed the Wise, was the first to be embraced by Caine, more than 10 millennia past. As leader of the first city, he held Caine in high esteem. When Caine returned from his exile, Enoch ceded his rule to him. Driven by Caine's power, he became Caine's initial progeny. Under Caine's rule, the first city, now known as the City of Enoch, flourished. Enoch, valued for his insights, was made Caine's chief advisor, and his descendants are said to share his prescient abilities. Irad, hailed as the Strong, was turned at Enoch's behest. Known for his formidable strength, he played a guardian role for Caine. It's said that those descending from him carry a natural propensity for leadership. Zillah, famed for her beauty and known as Caine's beloved, was the third turned. Despite her affections not being mutual, Caine found ways to bind her through ancient magic. Traits of predation and hunting prowess are said to flow in the veins of her lineage. The second generation, having grasped the embrace, brought forth the third generation, 13 entities that laid the foundations for today's kindred clans. The Dark Father's subsequent disappearance, possibly born from sorrow or wrath, left his progeny bereft. The third, in their newfound autonomy, turned against and eradicated the second. Upon discovery, Caine, in his wrath, cursed the third and their descendants. Most of our ancient history is documented in the Book of Nod. Seen by many as the sacred text of our kind, its authenticity remains a subject of debate. Regardless of its historical veracity, it carries immense significance among the kindred. As for Caine's actual existence, it remains a topic of contention. Some see his legend as metaphorical, while others interpret it literally. This often leads to strife among our factions. But what unites us in this lore is the belief that the potency of a kindred's blood is dictated by their proximity to Caine in lineage. The term Antediluvian is reserved for the rare and profoundly powerful kindred hailing from the third generation. These are the founders of the 13 distinct clans, and they are the few who have weathered the biblical deluge. As I've mentioned before, their origin traces back to the first city, where they received the embrace from those of the second generation. Following the Great Flood and the subsequent fall of the first city, they earned the title of Antediluvians. In a world left without the watchful eyes of Caine and their immediate progenitors, They found themselves in a state of rebellion, severing ties with their sires and embracing the fourth generation, thus laying the groundwork for the clans as we know them. These ancient ones sought to reclaim their dominance, founding what we now call the Second City. They drew 13 tribes into their fold, crafting a society that revered them as divine beings. As the ages rolled on, the prominence and overt actions of the Antediluvians diminished. Some have been diablerized or killed, while others receded into the shadows, leaving their current state a topic of debate and speculation. I share this with you, not to instill fear but awareness. These beings, should they truly be out there, operate on a plane far beyond our own, wielding power immeasurable. They are forces of nature, entities capable of reshaping the world in their image. As a newly embraced, it's crucial to understand this hierarchy, but know this: they are beings best left undisturbed, far from our reach. A generation is a term that we use to denote our distance from Caine. It's not something easily seen, not without certain arcane methods. Yet one can sometimes infer a kindred's generation from their demeanor and their command over their disciplines. Each time a kindred embraces another, that new child is of a generation one step removed from their sire. Judging by the amount of vitae it took to stabilize you, I'd estimate you fall between the 11th to 12th generations, a common range for many kindred nowadays. The original clan founders hail from the 3rd generation, and from there, each new lineage is a step further away, reaching up to the 13th in recent history. A kindred's generation isn't just a marker of lineage, but an indicator of their place, their potential, and sometimes a hint of grand fates or looming shadows ahead. Those from earlier generations also typically have deeper reserves, reducing the frequency of their hunts and far more innate power than those of later generations. The only way for a kindred to rise in generational power is through the taboo act of diablerie. Diablerie, sometimes referred to as the amaranth, is the dark temptation of our kind. It's where a kindred drinks deeply from another, consuming not just their blood, but their very essence. This act allows the one committing it to lower their own generation, increasing their might. The allure of such power makes it enticing for the younger among us. Yet, the elder kindred, some of whom might bear the weight of their own past sins, view it with deep distrust and disdain. That said, in our twisted world, there are moments when this taboo is overlooked, even encouraged. Some sects, like the Sabbat and certain Anarch territories, view diablerie as a rite of passage, a testament to power and dominance over the weak. But heed this warning. While the pull of added strength might draw you near, the costs are profound. Engaging in diablerie doesn't just augment your power, it transforms who you are. It corrupts, makes one more heartless, further detaching from the remnants of humanity we hold on to. This is a path of shadows, and I would hope you tread with caution. It's a journey that can darken the soul beyond redemption. Another thing that you should be aware of, my young fledgling, is the prophecy of Gehenna. It is the dark prophecy of our end times. In Gehenna, the skies will bleed and our numbers will be brutally diminished. The Antediluvians will rise from their slumber and feast upon their own bloodline. Caine will return to pass judgment, and our fate will be sealed by divine wrath, sending us to the inferno below. While beliefs vary, the fear of Gehenna is a constant among us. Many, like you once did, doubted the existence of kindred until becoming one themselves. Whether you give credence to such stories is up to you, but being ignorant of them, that is not a luxury I will give you. Now that you're among the kindred, it's tempting to see yourself as a predator and mortals as mere sustenance. But tread with caution. Though our gifts are formidable, in numbers, we are but a fraction compared to humanity. If our existence was to be exposed, extinction would be a real threat. History has shown us this. Once, long ago, we faced the first Inquisition during what we remember as the Burning Times. Many old friends and acquaintances were killed back then. Our lack of unity and overconfidence nearly led to our undoing. The hunters of that age drove us to the shadows, reshaping how we interacted with the mortal realm. Times have changed, but risks remain. In 2008, A misstep exposed our secret online network, ShrekNet, to global intelligence agencies. This birthed a renewed hunt, the Second Inquisition. Modern hunters, armed with both old hatred and modern resources, have struck at our very heart, compromising bastions like London and Vienna. It's a stark reminder, while our kind will endure, complacency is a luxury we can't afford. Recklessness endangers not just you, but all of Kindred society. If you pose too great a risk, there are those within our ranks who'd see you silenced rather than risk exposure. Stay vigilant and tread wisely. Just as the world of humans is split by groups and beliefs, so is the world of the Kindred divided into what we term sects. These sects, in many ways, mirror the philosophical and political alignments of a Kindred, and while choosing one is theoretically a matter of personal alignment, the surroundings and influences play a significant role. Many fledglings, new to this life as you are, often find themselves shaped by the beliefs of their sire. But your path is different. I have no intention of imposing my worldview upon you, leaving you with the freedom to align with a sect that resonates with your own beliefs or none at all. Excluding the independent powers such as the Inconnu, a secretive group exclusive for elders, the Hecata, the last independent clan that usually only accepts members of its internal bloodlines, and the Ashura, an Islamic sect that rules over Arabia and North Africa. There are 3 main sects. Each offers a unique perspective. Normally, an abandoned new blood such as yourself would struggle to gain access into any of these organizations, but through my influence it is possible. A different way to interpret our existence. It's for you to explore, question, and ultimately decide where you see your place in our world. To grasp the complexities of the sects, one must delve into their historical roots. The landscape of the Kindred world experienced significant shifts, particularly during the Anarch Revolt in the 15th century. This upheaval, ignited during the Inquisition, was driven by the rage of neonate Kindred against their elders, who were accused of sacrificing the younger Kindred to preserve themselves. The Great Revolt expanded its reach to Italy and Romania. In Italy, the Lasombra elder, Gratiano de Veronese, alongside allies, launched an attack against the Lasombra Antediluvian, resulting in his presumed death. At the same time, the Giovanni struck against and ultimately usurped the Cappadocians. Over in Romania, the Tzimisce, led by Lugoj and his Anarch forces, also brought down their own Antediluvian. It is important, fledgling, not to lose yourself in these tales. The truth of these supposed Antediluvian deaths remains shrouded in mystery, and there are conflicting accounts from those who were present. Nevertheless, the alleged demise of these ancient beings sent shockwaves throughout our society, reshaping the very foundations of our world. These events would directly lead to the creation of the Camarilla and lead to the Convention of Thorns in 1493, which marked the end of the Anarch Revolt. A majority of the Anarchs were integrated into the Camarilla, while the Lasombra and Tzimisce established the Sabbat. Additionally, the Camarilla brokered a peace deal with the Giovanni, recognizing their neutrality and permitting them to continue their elimination of the Cappadocians. The Camarilla, often dubbed the Ivory Tower, took root in the 15th century. It was a response to the growing threats from human vampire hunters and the unsettling power imbalances among the elder kindred. They are staunch advocates for the Masquerade, which conceals our existence from mortals. The belief is simple. Should humans become aware of us, our kind would be overwhelmed by their sheer numbers. Many kindred, even beyond the Camarilla's borders, share this sentiment, including myself. Therefore, the Camarilla's core mission revolves around preserving the relative peace between our kind and humanity. Many within the Camarilla's fold are of younger bloodlines, having not witnessed the days when the ancient Antediluvians shaped the kindred world. Though tales of vampirism's genesis and the legendary Caine are taught, many dismiss these stories as mere legends. Historically, the Camarilla's higher echelons either refuted the Antediluvians' existence or maintained that their era ended eons ago. Open discourse on Gehenna was often muted to stave off widespread fear and deter alignment with end-time factions. A lingering sentiment suggests that the Camarilla's dismissal of Gehenna preparations isn't born of disbelief, but rather a hope that if the Ancient Ones awaken, they'd favor their loyal sect. Though they see themselves as the linchpin of Kindred society, their supremacy is continuously tested, whether by the inherent territorial instincts of our kind or by elder kindred who reminisce about times before the Camarilla. Among the three major sects, they're the most structured and wield significant influence. The Sabbat, with their disdain for the traditions, are a perennial threat, instigating territorial disputes. Internally, the sect grapples with rising tensions. Elder members grow wary of newcomers, while younger kindred feel sidelined. With newer generations leaning into modern advancements, many elders find themselves struggling to keep up, leading to hasty, fear-driven decisions. However, allying with the Camarilla can offer a veneer of protection for younger kindred like yourself, and open doors to vast resources, especially if you curry favor with older members. The Camarilla's bedrock lies in the 6 traditions. The Masquerade, kindred must conceal their existence from humans. The Domain, a kindred's hunting ground, is their sovereign territory. The Progen, kindred must seek elder permission before creating new kindred. The Accounting, a sire is responsible for their offspring's actions until they are set free. The Hospitality, kindred must respect others' domains and mandates introducing oneself to the local ruler when entering a new territory. And lastly, the Destruction gives the right to kill a kindred only to the community's elder, with only an elder having the authority to initiate a blood hunt. These rules are upheld by a figure known as the Prince. These rulers hold sway in their respective regions, each with their own quirks and agendas. They host periodic courts, addressing legal and policy matters. Deviation from these traditions can invite harsh reprisals, including the dreaded blood hunt, in which kindred marked for the hunt are to be killed on sight. In the grand tapestry of kindred society, the Camarilla represents a beacon of order. Although the eldest members wield significant influence, opportunities for ascension exist for younger kindred, though challenging. If you seek structure and the charm of kindred high society in your existence, the Camarilla beckons. The Sabbat, often labeled as the Sword of Caine, stands in contrast to the Camarilla. Where the Camarilla melds with the human world, respecting its age-old traditions, the Sabbat embraces its inherent vampiric essence, proclaiming dominance over mortals. However, viewing them merely as brutish devil followers is a surface judgment, missing the sect's deeper core. While Camarilla kindred subtly weave through both human and kindred politics, the Sabbat outright shuns human pretenses. To them, mortals are primarily sustenance or pawns in their designs. They don't mask their monstrous nature, aiming for liberation from the Camarilla's moral chains. This leads many Sabbat kindred down paths of enlightenment, unique ethical guidelines to steer their existence. Yet they're no fools, recognizing the importance of staying concealed from humanity at large. The Sabbat deeply values unity and allegiance. Their structure revolves around pacts, tight-knit groups forged by shared blood and mission. If you were to join the Sabbat New Blood, these pacts would be your entry point. These groups embody various roles: religious sects, political wings, and militant squads. Yet within this united front, internal strife is common, often due to the balance between individualism and collective loyalty. Overseeing the Sabbat's agenda are the influential archbishops. An archbishop's role, akin to a Camarilla prince's, is distinct. While princes preserve traditions, archbishops emphasize the Sabbat's sacred crusade against the Antediluvians. They are both spiritual leaders and strategic generals. Progress is slow and strategic due to the Masquerade in vast human populations. This gradual pace often frustrates younger Sabbat members, leading to doubts about their leaders, a challenge archbishops continually face. Sabbat-controlled cities are tumultuous, reflecting the sect's fiery nature. But beneath this disarray lies intent, a united push against the Antediluvians, as they believe that eliminating them will put an end to Gehenna. This shared ambition is the Sabbat's unifying force amid internal quarrels and external adversaries. The Sabbat houses varied factions with specific ideologies. The Black Hand, the Sabbat's military arm, and the sect's Inquisition, tasked with purging treachery, command significant power. Relations with the Camarilla are fraught, as the Sabbat constantly seeks to disrupt their adversaries. Clan loyalties shift, causing tensions. Young Camarilla kindred, chafing under elder control, often defect to the Sabbat, lured by promises of power, only to become mere foot soldiers in a conflict they scarcely grasp. At the heart of the Sabbat's unity are their rituals, with the most important being the Valdery, where kindred blend and share their blood, reinforcing their interconnectedness and readying them for impending battles. Through various means, the Sabbat remains a vital kindred force, unified by shared aspirations and a desire to break ancient bonds. To you, the Sabbat might seem disorganized, its younger members mere game pieces in a larger scheme. Yet their interconnections, especially within their packs, are among the most resilient bonds in kindred society. The Sabbat welcomes those with fierce convictions and the want to dominate. If that is what you are looking for, the Sabbat calls. The Anarch movement stands as a curious entity amidst kindred politics and traditions. While they position themselves under the Camarilla's wide shadow, the Anarchs exist in a dual role, both as challengers and essential components of this powerful sect. Though they aren't a sect in the traditional sense like the Sabbat or Camarilla, their influence is significant enough to warrant a similar level of consideration. To the Camarilla, Anarchs are considered under their protective wing, but the Anarchs view this care more as a yoke of oppression. Yet not all Anarchs wish to sever ties with the Camarilla completely. Some recognize potential benefits within its structure, hoping to reform it into a more just kindred society. Unified in their quest for change, Anarchs, however, differ vastly in their visions for the future. A shared sentiment among them is a shift from age-driven power to merit-based leadership. Their approaches vary widely, with some advocating peaceful dialogue and others resorting to more forceful methods. Their mission starkly contrasts with the Sabbats, whose aim is pure kindred dominance. The Anarchs, in essence, strive for a more equal playing field. This quest for equality paints them as a potential menace to the established kindred order. The Camarilla's ruling class, along with the waiting ancillae, often find themselves at odds with the Anarchs' radical ideas. This sometimes makes many within the sect feel cornered and agitated. Many of the members I have encountered aren't hesitant to challenge authority, a boldness many kindred lack. The Anarch movement, even within the Camarilla's structure, doesn't adhere to a rigid hierarchy. They're more a coalition bound by shared grievances than an organized sect. However, there exists a semblance of order, with the title of Baron often indicating a position of leadership. While Anarchs reject the authority of princes, they acknowledge the need for leadership. This is where the role of the Baron comes into play. Akin to a prince but distinct in stature and responsibilities, Barons must navigate the delicate balance of leadership without veering into tyranny. The Anarch movement is diverse, with members spanning both youthful rebels and seasoned kindred. There's even a segment of older kindred, including myself, who believe the Anarchs can instigate beneficial reforms within the Camarilla. Their ethos emphasizes personal achievements rather than age-old status symbols. They foster community through playful challenges, tales of accomplishment, and shared experiences. However, some kindred criticize these practices, seeing them either as potential masquerade breaches or as mere youthful distractions. For those finding the Sabbat's ways too radical and the Camarilla too confining, the Anarchs provide an avenue for expression and change. They represent a vibrant, reformative force within our world. If you wish to reshape the Camarilla from its core, aligning with the Anarchs could be your path forward. Just because there are various sects available for you to align with, it doesn't necessarily mean joining one is mandatory. While it's true that these groups can provide a layer of security, especially beneficial for a fledgling like yourself, they also impose limitations and can be quite restrictive. Moreover, once you're in, deciding to leave can bring about perilous consequences, and in some extreme cases, it might even cost you your unlife. I am one of those such kindred, not bound to a sect, free to do what I choose. Those who choose to walk the path alone, not pledging allegiance to any sect, clan, or authority figure. are referred to as Autarkis. The lives of these individuals can differ dramatically. Some might lead isolated, withdrawn existences, managing to stay under the radar of the local sects due to their low profile or complicated pasts. On the other hand, there are those who are formidable and stand their ground, challenging anyone who tries to exert control over them. These individuals might command respect, or perhaps instill a sense of fear or awe within their domain. Their strength and resilience enable them to repel any attempts by the local kindred to dominate them, affirming their autonomy and solidifying their status as Autarkis. So, what does clan mean in our world? Clans signify the principal factions of Kindred. We recognize 13 distinct clans, each anchored by an antediluvian from the 3rd generation. Each clan possesses at least 3 unique disciplines, which are supernatural capabilities, alongside a clan flaw and compulsion. As you'll come to find out, when confronted with a fellow kindred in conflict, pinpointing their clan lineage will be mostly impossible. Many times the lines blur and the signs are obscured. Thus, readiness and versatility towards any kindred you may face is a necessity. I intend to guide you through this intricate maze, offering insights into each clan's historical roots, their potent abilities, their time-honored customs, and even their vulnerabilities. By equipping you with this knowledge, I aim to bolster your defenses and sharpen your strategies, giving you a fighting chance in the unpredictable dance of kindred politics and power plays that define our eternal nights. Without knowledge of your sire, we are in the dark about your lineage. This labels you a Caitiff, much like myself. Fate is funny that way, isn't it? The term Caitiff is quite complicated, yet there are 2 core understandings. Primarily, it's a term for those with unclear or flawed ancestry, and those left behind by their sires, as we were. You're absent the clan framework meant to nurture your development. For the most part, we are ignored by the rest of kindred society. Normally, embracing a child without the regional delegate's approval is forbidden. Either your sire may have met an untimely end before mentoring you, or perhaps your creation was unintended. Regardless, you're here now, and there's much to grasp. The existence of a Caitiff is fraught with hardships, particularly in the early days. You are thrust into our world with no knowledge or guidance and marked as an outsider among outsiders. Our kind is often looked down upon by established clans, seen as weaker, starting from a position even below that of most newly turned kindred. We lack the protection of clans or sects, possess no inherent disciplines, and carry no storied legacy in our blood. Yet it is in this very void, this absence of predefined identity, that our true potential lies. From this space of nothingness you can shape yourself, overcome adversities, and ultimately carve out your own place in this dark existence. I will stand with you, empower you, and help you understand the what and why of our kind. We are feared because we are unknown and unpredictable. We carry no inherent weaknesses, can manifest any discipline we choose, albeit at a steeper cost, and hold no loyalties to any particular clan, lineage, or sect. Even Caine was a Caitiff. In this, find your strength and know that your path, while challenging, is also one of unbridled potential. The Banu Haqim, also known as the Children of Haqim or Assamites, stand as the adjudicators, enforcers, and executioners within our society. Their mission is to uphold order among the kindred, meticulously evaluating and, when necessary, steering various kindred factions to avert disorder. Though they can sometimes come across as sanctimonious, they view themselves as indispensable arbitrators, dedicated to eradicating threats to our kind, particularly as the threat of the Inquisition looms large. From their inception, the Banu Haqim have been a largely isolated group. They are centered in Alamut and the Middle East. Because of the scarce presence of other clans in their territory, they have maintained a balanced division of responsibilities over the centuries. This internal structure allows them to thrive independently, a feat that would have been challenging for clans with more narrow specializations, like the Ventrue or Toreador. Their relative isolation was in part due to their antediluvian, Haqim, who sought to distance the clan from territorial disputes, viewing these conflicts as echoes of past mistakes made in the Second City. Despite his efforts, some clan members did become entwined in kindred politics, leading to his eventual departure from Alamut and subsequent disappearance. During the Dark Ages, the Banu Haqim were at odds with the Bali, a group of demon-worshipping kindred. It was during this time that they were inflicted with a curse that gave them an unquenchable thirst for kindred vitae, affecting all members of the clan. This curse, coupled with the Crusades, put them in a precarious position. Western kindred encroached on their lands, depleted their resources, and disrespected their mortal allies. In response, they would launch a defensive campaign against these invaders to reclaim their territory and influence. Post-revolt, as the Camarilla formed and the Anarchs defected, the Banu Haqim redirected their animosity towards the Camarilla. This tension persisted until the discovery of Alamut, resulting in their reluctant submission to the Treaty of Tyre and a blood curse from the Tremere preventing them from drinking the blood of kindred. This blow was devastating for the clan, and they have never forgiven the Tremere, continuing their rivalry into modern nights. In the late 90s, the awakening of the ancient sorcerer Ur-Shulgi, a direct child of Haqim, drastically changed the clan. He would lift the Tremere curse that had plagued them for centuries with ease and take leadership over the clan. However, his strict interpretation of the laws of Haqim and insistence on sole reverence to Haqim over Islamic beliefs caused internal strife and division, leading to a schism. During this tumultuous period, many members, especially from the warrior caste, left Alamut or were killed for resisting Ur-Shulgi's radical changes. The Banu Haqim split, with members dispersing into various factions, joining sects like the Sabbat, going independent, or remaining with the main clan. In modern nights, the clan has predominantly aligned with the Camarilla, adopting roles of law enforcement and upholding both the sect's traditions and their distinct principles. The Banu Haqim are structured in a tight-knit, hierarchical manner. The supreme leader, called the Eldest, holds ultimate authority. The head of the caste, known as the Council of Duat, create policies within the clan. Both are protected by the Silsila, the spiritual elite of the clan. Internally, they are divided into 3 distinct lineages. Among them, members of the warrior lineage are the most familiar to the outside world, renowned as fierce combatants and shadowy assassins. Sorcerers, though fewer in number, delve into the mysteries of blood magic. Viziers might remain lesser known, but they stand as the intellectual pillars of the clan, serving as both scholars and artisans, safeguarding the clan's vast troves of knowledge. To strengthen bonds and unity, clan members convene during the early hours in gatherings called Diwakhana sessions. Rooted in Kurdish traditions, here they exchange tales and deliberate on shared concerns. For an outsider to attend a Diwakhana is a mark of significant esteem, signifying deep trust and respect from the clan. Faith plays a pivotal role for the Banu Haqim, echoing the intense devotion observed in the ministry. This might stem from connections to mortal religions or the deep reverence some hold for their progenitor. Many were believers in Islam before their transformation, but becoming a creature of the night often tests these beliefs, leading many to reevaluate or even forsake their previous convictions. They are very methodical in whom they embrace, pinpointing those who further the clan's aims. Historically, candidates must be zealous enough to lay down their lives for the clan's goals. They tend to favor those who work in law enforcement or vigilantes, anyone who has strong commitments to fight against wrongdoings. Obsessive personalities also catch the clan's eye, ensuring that those chosen are unwavering in their pursuits, whether it's in combat, academia, or the arts. The clan upholds strict standards when considering new members. They don't create new kindred on impulse. Instead, they observe potential neonates, ensuring they resonate with the clan's ethos and standards. A trial by combat is the rite of passage for new fledglings, earning them the title of Mustajib, or deserving one. Any missteps mean death for these neonates. After turning, a brutal 7-year tutelage under the sire begins. Success elevates them to Fidaya status, or one who sacrifices himself. They will serve their sire for 7 more years before gaining their independence. While the majority of members come from the Middle East and North Africa, the clan is by no means homogeneous. The clan has spread its reach, embracing mortals from across the globe. It is a misconception to label them as exclusively Muslims, even if many hail from Muslim regions. They have a diverse range of religions, including Zoroastrianism, Catholicism, and Islam, with Islam being the most dominant. In the past, the clan accepted only men, especially within the warrior caste. This male-centric approach has roots in the caste's physical combat emphasis, but there are always outliers. The viziers and sorcerers require intellectual members and are less reliant on physical strength. This leads to a better balance of genders in their work. Their decisions reflect societal norms and values, with warriors typically choosing the young and robust, while viziers and sorcerers opt for experienced minds, valuing wisdom over youth. The devout members of the clan follow a unique set of guidelines, separate from the traditions. Referred to as the Laws of Haqim, these rules originate from their progenitor. The Law of Leadership underlines the reverence and homage owed to Haqim, the one appointed to guide in the founder's stead. The Law of Protection advises members to guard mortals against the kindred of other clans and ensure they're always treated with respect. The Law of Destruction prohibits killing kin, leaving such decisions only to Haqim. The Law of the Word enforces honesty within the clan, stressing its core values based on truth. Finally, the Law of Judgment emphasizes monitoring and potentially penalizing fellow kindred should they not meet the clan's standards. The Banu Haqim wield considerable influence in the realm of mortals, far beyond what many suspect. To the uninformed, they're seen merely as reclusive kindred enforcers. However, if you look closer, you'll see that they have a presence in many industries, such as law and oil. Benefiting from age-old connections to affluent Arabian lineages, they hold economic power in the Middle East. While ancient grudges with clans like the Ventrue and Tremere persist, they artfully turn prevailing misconceptions to their strategic benefit. The clan commands a diverse set of disciplines, with each caste refining a particular skill set. Celerity is one of their most potent, which gifts the kindred with remarkable speed and agility. They use it to swiftly execute their judgments and quickly feed on unsuspecting mortals. Obfuscate is another important discipline for them, especially in the line of assassination. They can utilize it to hide, create illusions, or become invisible. They also employ this skill to discreetly feed or silently eliminate a target. Some use obfuscate to discreetly observe a target's wrongdoings before meting out judgment. Sorcerers of the clan are masters of blood magic using a discipline known as Duran-Ki, also known as Assamite sorcery. It is an ancient form of blood magic. It predates thaumaturgy, the unique discipline of the Tremere, and is rooted in a variety of mortal religious traditions. Unlike thaumaturgy, which uses abstract symbols of power to impose the will of its practitioners, Duran-Ki practitioners, called Ashipu, invoke ancient covenants with spirits to fulfill their desires. This practice is distinct from the long-term pacts of dark thaumaturgy, as Duran-Ki draws on astrology, amulets, talismans, and ecstatic practices like trances, dance, pain, meditation, and artistic expression to interact with spirits. Additionally, Assamite sorcerers commonly use a drug called Caitiff, which allows them to enter trances and ascend the ladder of heaven to meet powerful spirits and gain magic. The signature discipline of the clan is called Quietus. Unique to them, it bestows exceptional prowess over blood and poisons. While accessible to all within the clan, the warrior caste is the most adept at wielding it with lethal precision. Rooted in their ancient lineage, it is a means to pass judgment on others. It offers its practitioners a suite of abilities, from invoking zones of silence, crafting potent toxins, siphoning life essence, and causing harm by influencing a target's blood. Central to Quietus is the dual mastery of the lifeblood and the art of silence, positioning its users as unmatched stealth assassins and tacticians. But wielding it is not without its challenges. Practitioners are notably susceptible to curses tied to blood. They find themselves at greater risk of blood-borne maladies, and as one deepens their connection with Quietus, an intense preoccupation with blood can begin to dominate their psyche. The Banu Haqim's curse gives them a unique inclination to feed from those they deem worthy of retribution. This is especially pronounced when it comes to the blood of fellow kindred, seen as the pinnacle of wrongdoings. Once they taste kindred blood, restraint becomes a challenge. They often find themselves compelled to consume, to the extent of committing Diablaire. As they seek to align with the Camarilla, this particular hunger poses issues, given the Camarilla's aversion to the act. This behavior aligns with their inherent compulsion to penalize transgressions, viewing the taking of blood as apt punishment. Their proclivity for Diablaire only intensifies this perspective. The Banu Haqim are highly skilled in the art of assassination. Encounters with them face-to-face are rare. Often, you will be dead before you even realize their presence. To gain the upper hand, bait them out, or use your blood to push them towards frenzy. It makes them less calculated and more impulsive. Tread carefully, young one, for among the kindred, they are masters of combat. The Brujah have always been recognized for their fervent passions and unyielding spirit. In bygone eras, they were revered as wise scholars and influential leaders, guiding societies with their profound knowledge and philosophical insights. However, their reputation has shifted. Today, while the fire of their convictions remains undimmed, they are more often seen as rebels and provocateurs in the modern knights, challenging the status quo and frequently finding themselves at odds with both kindred and mortal establishments. Their storied past, juxtaposed with their contemporary image, paints a complex portrait of a clan that has never quite fit neatly into any single mold. The Brujah have seen their reputation decline over the ages, evolving into perceived rebels in modern knights. Shrouded in mystery, their past speaks of two possibly distinct figures, the original clan founder and his child Troil, who is believed to have committed Diablaire on the founder, thereby taking control of the clan. Brujah's historical narratives describe him as a rational being, while Troil is depicted as rebellious. A subgroup, the True Brujah, claims to have descended directly from Brujah, perpetuating the clan's grievance. Historically, the Brujah strive to establish utopias where mortals and kindred coexisted harmoniously. Greece, especially Athens, became a significant location for the clan, drawing influence from local philosophers and ideologists. Their most significant endeavor was in Carthage, which they saw as an Eden. However, differing accounts paint Carthage in contrasting lights. While the Brujah describe it as idyllic, others speak of human sacrifices and the corrupting influence of the Baali. Carthage was ultimately decimated in the Third Punic War, marking a significant blow to the Brujah's ambitions. During the Dark Ages, they often aligned themselves with revolutionary political ideologies. However, the Renaissance was a tumultuous period for the Brujah, witnessing the division between the traditional intellectuals and the emerging rebels. This was further exacerbated as time went on, with many young Brujah identifying with radical ideologies like Marxism and Darwinism and striving for societal change. During the 20th century, the Brujah's reputation was defined by two major projects, the Anarch Free State and the Brujah Council. While the Anarch Free State in California offered a new vision of kindred society, it crumbled under external pressures. The Brujah Council in the USSR represented a daring alliance with the Soviet Revolution, but its abrupt end came with the rise of the Nosferatu, Baba Yaga. Today, a significant portion of the clan has shifted allegiance from the Camarilla to the Anarch movement, after they clashed with the sect, resulting in the death of significant Brujah figures. The Brujah are generally disorganized. While they have a penchant for creating structures, there is an equal force within the clan that enjoys dismantling them. Two distinct factions dominate the Brujah landscape, the iconoclasts and the idealists. Iconoclasts are typically younger Brujah, personifying the clan's stereotype of being chaotic and unpredictable. On the other hand, idealists tend to be the thinkers and planners, mostly comprising the clan's elders and ancillae. Universally, the clan has two conventions, the rant and the rave. The former is an informal gathering where anyone loud enough can voice their opinions, while the latter is a social event, often large musical gatherings. Brujah have a reputation for bucking tradition, and it's evident in their hasty embraces. They often choose individuals to embrace without much forethought. In addition, Many Brujah do not tend to the needs of their children, leaving many to die early in their unlife. This gives rise to the notion that they frequently neglect their offspring, fueling the belief that many Caitiff trace back to Brujah roots. While they are drawn to those who defy societal expectations, their choices aren't limited to just outspoken rebels like punks. They also see value in the discreet challengers, like underground activists or schemers. Brujah kindred deeply value their autonomy, shirking societal norms regardless of whether they originate from kindred or human structures. They often steer clear of leadership roles, viewing political maneuvers as mere distractions that can diminish their independence. As a result, it's uncommon to find Brujah in positions like princes or archbishops. However, the few Brujah who do ascend to such roles have a unique style of governance. Instead of the typical machinations and subtle manipulations preferred by many princes, Brujah leaders govern through raw determination, allure, and fervor. While they might not possess the pomp of leaders from other clans, with Brujah, you always know where you stand due to their candid and direct nature. Traditionally, Brujah followed the Olympian ideal or entelechie, which prioritized the perfection of both body and mind. This ideal had roots even before Carthage. As such, ancient Brujah were both physically rigorous and well-versed in varied domains of knowledge. Some within the clan believed that fire was the elemental force driving change and perfection in the world. They theorized that the fiery passion and rage characteristic of the Brujah were manifestations of this elemental fire, positioning them as agents of change and perfection. However, over time, the nuances of his teachings were lost, with only a few elders and followers of the path of Entelechie still holding on to these ancient beliefs. Modern Brujah are driven by their intense passions, which is both a gift and a curse for them. They fervently champion causes and ideologies, often resorting to vocal and even destructive methods to express their beliefs. While there are internal divisions and rivalries within the clan, they showcase remarkable unity when faced with external threats, rallying under the adage of standing together against outsiders. The Brujah clan are often stereotyped for their physical prowess and temper. However, they are also passionate advocates for change and societal upheaval. They value constant evolution in ideology and customs, which often leads to tensions with more static, rule-bound kindred factions. Currently, as champions of the Anarch cause, they face threats from the Camarilla's enforcers, emphasizing the importance of unity and strength within their ranks. The Brujah are emblems of fiery passion and deep-seated beliefs, renowned not just for their fervor, but also their formidable prowess in combat. They occupy a unique space, drawing both admiration and caution from other clans. Their discipline of potence endows them with a level of strength rarely seen, even among kindred. They utilize potence for overwhelming strength in confrontations. Despite their claim of a connection to humanity, many prefer to use force to take what they want, often overpowering humans for feeding rather than negotiating. But it isn't just brute strength that defines them. Their mastery of celerity complements their might, making them swift shadows on the battlefield. They quickly initiate and escape from conflicts, swiftly capture and feed from humans, and eliminate mortals before disappearing into the shadows. Yet there's more than just physical prowess to the Brujah. Their discipline of presence, a subtle yet potent force, surrounds them with an aura that influences emotions and perceptions. Brujah use presence to influence and control crowds, either winning their support or inciting chaos. While intellectual Brujah persuade individuals to willingly offer their blood, others use presence to instill fear in their prey, enhancing the taste of the blood and amplifying their inherent powers. It is this combination of raw power, speed, and presence that makes the Brujah not only formidable opponents, but also influential leaders, able to rally fellow kindred and sway them toward shared beliefs and causes. The Brujah clan carries two distinct marks: a deep-seated sense of individualism and an ever-burning fire of anger within them. While many point to the Brujah's temper as their hallmark, it's frequently misunderstood. This inner fire isn't just a trait, but a challenge. It often pushes them towards frenzy, challenging their self-control more than many other clans. However, The expression of this anger isn't uniform among the clan. Some Brujah may not frequently explode in violent outbursts, but when tested, their aggression can amplify, potentially leading to unintended consequences. Through sheer determination, some manage to curb these instincts, but never fully extinguish them. This relentless inner fire keeps the Brujah dynamic, preventing them from the monotony some other clans might experience. But it also makes them unpredictable. A seemingly calm Brujah might suddenly react strongly to a minor trigger, while other kindred might mistake this for a lack of discipline. The truth is, every Brujah is in a constant battle with their inner fury. Whether it feels like a continuous ache, a persistent hum, or an echoing drumbeat, it's always there, simmering, ready to boil over when least expected. Moreover, a Brujah's very nature pushes them against the grain of established order and authority. This innate urge to contest the mainstream can sometimes cloud their judgment and actions. They're almost driven to defy any given directive or widely held view. The only resolution for this inherent defiance is either successfully debunking the dominant stance or intentionally breaking away from conventional expectations. As you might expect, Brujah are formidable and known for their lethal prowess. It's unwise to challenge one up close unless cornered with no other choice. Their unique abilities rank them among the most potent kindred in battle, and a well-versed Brujah is a force to be reckoned with. If ever you cross paths or must engage with one, exploit their emotional nature. The Brujah are deeply tied to their feelings and are easily enraged. By pushing their buttons, you can shift the balance, making them act more predictably and less in command of themselves. The Ministry, sometimes referred to as the followers of Set, are powerful cultists and manipulators that trace their lineage back to the deity Set of Egyptian lore. They hold a deep conviction that Set is destined to rule the world or bring about its end. Expertly navigating the realms of addiction, degradation, and vice, they prey on the vulnerable, drawing them into their world with tempting promises and forbidden truths. Their often fringe status in the wider kindred society is not a point of contention for them. Instead, they use it to their advantage, offering their unique skills on their terms. They ensure their tributes, whether of blood or spirit, are given freely in homage to their dark deity. During the ancient era, the clan was centered around Egypt and its antediluvian, Set, the Egyptian deity. Myths speak of his divinity, his clash with Osiris, and the damning curse by Ra. Their influence was felt throughout history, during the rule of Ramses II, and even as Alexander the Great rose to power. Come the Roman times, the clan spread its teachings via cults, sharing coveted truths and opposing the confining nature of Maat, historically symbolizing the balance of the afterlife. But when Set disappeared around 33 CE, the clan's grip on Egypt weakened. In his absence, the remaining leaders stepped up, directing the clan's path. It was during these times that a splintering group, advocating corruption for its own merit, emerged in Constantinople. Known as Decadents, they carried their beliefs across the continent, causing rifts with traditional clan teachings. Back in their heartland, they faced external pressures from Europe and challenges from kindred foes, notably the Banu Haqim. However, their deep-seated wisdom rendered them sought after, swelling their ranks with patrons as time went on. Their presence grew in fellow kindred territories, where they traded knowledge, wielded influence, and brokered alluring deals. The clan would attempt to increase their value by fueling the Inquisition against other kindred, exposing their havens, and turning elders over to witch hunters. This instigated profound shifts in the kindred world, paving the way for the Masquerade, the Anarch uprising, and the birth of the Sabbat and Camarilla. The Ministry themselves experienced internal shifts, giving rise to varied beliefs within. Even though they were instrumental in molding the modern kindred era, they were denied entrance into the Camarilla. They've since mostly aligned with the Anarch movement, advocating for spiritual emancipation. In the modern kindred landscape, the Ministry balances two roles, as purveyors of forbidden wares and as spiritual custodians. They posit their dalliance with vice as a sacrificial act for the greater good, a position that ensures their relevance and standing among the kindred. The clan often establishes itself around an urban temple, primarily in major cities. These temples frequently encompass concealed sanctuaries, taking the form of hidden chambers in adult shops, forgotten warehouses, or upper echelons of obscure societies. They're not blatant worship areas, but discreet spaces. While these areas align with their rituals, not all of the clan's members adhere strictly to the ministry's doctrine. Yet, many who do assert a bond with the voice of Set. Establishing such a connection is more about asserting dominance than showing concrete proof. Their aversion to the Abrahamic religions connects them with ancient Egyptian lore. Even as they regard their Egyptian peers as relics of the past, the ministry's influence remains strong in that region. The ministry primarily targets the integrity of society, seeking to destabilize the values and morals held by both kindred and humans. They wield the allure of vices from drugs and sex to wealth and authority. Yet for many within the ministry, this path of moral erosion serves a greater purpose. They uphold a belief in separating the pure soul from the tainted world. In their eyes, the world is a cage, and higher powers, the keepers. Liberation, they argue, comes through profound experiences that shatter these chains. Their transformation into kindred, they believe, marks the beginning of this emancipation. Their faith is adaptable, often merging with local religions while influencing them. Rather than a single doctrine, it provides a foundation for creating diverse cults. Some followers might not recognize the name Set, instead aligning with other deities like Typhon or Shiva. However, the core essence remains consistent across these variations, and when viewed together, the collective beliefs reveal a unified underlying truth. They often embrace individuals who challenge or reject traditional beliefs, including criminals, atheists, and those who question religious narratives. They don't aim to corrupt these individuals but are drawn to their aptitude for challenging societal norms and exposing falsehoods. New members are introduced to the cult of Set, a belief system intertwined with the clan's identity. This faith is designed to infiltrate and dismantle established creeds from within. Another interesting aspect of the ministry is that not all of its members are initially embraced into the clan. Some are kindred from other clans who have fully embraced Set's teachings, accepted him as their deity, and have been formally inducted. While they retain the characteristics of their original clan, they are also taught the powers and paths associated with the ministry. Such converts aren't merely tolerated, they're cherished, underlining the importance of faith and conviction over mere ancestry. Ministry kindred integrate themselves within various facets of mortal society, ranging from the underground scene to influential positions in media and therapy. Regardless of their role, they always command a following, attracting individuals through personal connections rooted in need, fear, or desperation. Instead of relying on complex systems, their networks are more intimate. Unlike other kindred, they view their feeding sources as congregations rather than mere food supply. Those they feed on often willingly offer their blood, not only out of fear, but also because they find a deep connection and understanding with these kindred, recognizing the shared void within their souls. The ministry excels in the art of seduction and manipulation, as manifested in their disciplines. Through obfuscate, they meld with the darkness, craft deceptions, and vanish from sight. This skill allows them to delve deep into the psyche of both kindred and mortals, leveraging their fears and desires. Assuming the guise of familiar figures, they cunningly lead their marks to secluded places, serving their own ends, but it's their command over presence that stands paramount in their toolkit of deception and cult building. With this power, they can sway emotions, either pulling beings close or repelling them. Applied with subtlety, their dramatic actions and impassioned orations strike a chord with those they seek to influence. Their signature discipline, known as Serpentis, is deeply rooted in shape-shifting abilities and attributes linked to snakes. This discipline holds religious significance to the clan, being seen as a divine gift from their deity, Set. While it shares some similarities with the shape-shifting powers of Protean, they rarely share this power with other clans. Only on rare occasions, through significant blood boons, have outsiders gained access to it. Serpentis allows them to harness various snake-related powers. These abilities range from immobilizing individuals with a gaze and assuming an alluring appearance to more aggressive capabilities like growing a weaponized tongue or transforming into various snake forms. The discipline also offers defensive skills, such as turning the user's skin into a hardened shield or removing their heart, making them immune to certain attacks. Some practitioners of Serpentis often prefer their snake-like transformed states, distancing themselves from their original human forms. Possibly due to a deep-rooted rivalry tied to the god Horus, the Ministry displays an acute vulnerability to light. Far more pronounced than other kindred, they have a profound aversion to it. Direct, bright light, whether from natural or artificial sources, triggers an involuntary retreat and inflicts severe harm upon a member of the Ministry. Even the glow of a full moon can elicit a visceral response of repulsion. Furthermore, members of the Ministry harbor a deep-seated compulsion to shatter the unseen shackles they believe constrict every being's mind and spirit. This drives them to challenge and disrupt individuals' most cherished moral principles, spreading their brand of corruption wherever they tread. The Ministry might not rank as the most lethal or skilled in direct confrontation, but their cunning is unmatched. These are creatures steeped in deceit, with an innate desire to corrupt. Like all kindred, approach them with due caution. Should you find yourself in conflict with one, it's advantageous to corner them or force them indoors. Intense brightness, coupled with swift, aggressive action, can be their undoing. Yet, for all their evident vulnerabilities, never let your guard down, fledgling. Always remain vigilant regardless of your opponent. The Gangrel harbor a primordial hunger and embrace their beast, shunning the constraints of urban kindred society. They have a natural affinity for animals and often gain animalistic features after succumbing to their inner beast. They effortlessly traverse boundaries, embodying the essence of the wild. Misconstruing them as mere noble savages is dangerous, as they disdain the pretensions of civilization. Sharing tales of battles and their kind's hidden histories, they reject the Camarilla, resisting the manipulations of other kindred with fierce determination. The Gangrel have a complex and varied history. They traced their roots back to times when they followed nomadic tribes, using the earth as their shelter from the sun. Their history is primarily orally recorded, leading to a range of stories about their origins. Their antediluvian Enoia was an elusive figure. Their true nature is the subject of much speculation among the clan. Some believe Enoia to be female, though tales and legends across cultures offer varied and sometimes contradictory accounts of their existence. Many modern Gangrel have distanced themselves from these ancestral stories, concentrating instead on the here and now. They played a role in establishing the Camarilla, viewing it as a necessary entity for the preservation of our kind. However, evolving religious beliefs and societal norms prompted a shift, with many opting for a life outside the Camarilla's influence, seeking solace in untouched nature or among the remnants of tribal communities. The dwindling of wilderness and the Camarilla's rising influence presented formidable challenges, pushing numerous Gangrel to forsake our society and adopt the life of Autarkis. The Industrial Revolution only exacerbated their estrangement, as urban sprawl and the swelling tide of religious fervor compelled many to seek refuge in the wilderness or amongst surviving tribal groups. A significant shift occurred in modern nights. Following the Sabbat's attack on the East Coast, the Gangrel have cut ties with the Camarilla. The exact reasons remain unknown. This bold step led most of them toward the Anarch faction. What the clan plans to do within the sect is unknown, but one can imagine the change these powerful beasts can make within our society. Once pivotal to the Camarilla as its guardians and enforcers, the Gangrel have since abandoned their post, choosing to embrace their nature. They stand tall under the Anarch banner. The present day sees the Gangrel free spirits, masters of the highways, navigating both Camarilla and Anarch lands. While their presence in Camarilla territories remains, it's not out of loyalty, but rather for individual contracts or sentimental ties. Their newfound freedom has colored their viewpoint, tilting towards mercenary pragmatism. While their political leanings aren't staunch, they often find common ground with the Brujah, forging a bond of camaraderie. Clans such as Ventrue, Toreador, and Tremere maintain a wary distance, recalling past slights and anticipating Gangrel vengeance. Yet the Gangrel revel in their liberty, embodying their untamed essence. From time to time, they congregate in gatherings molded by shared cultural bonds. These assemblies are casual, centering on mutual exchange and festivity, rather than concrete objectives. Their structures remain localized, spanning from mentor-protege duos to larger groups marshaled by a seasoned outlander. The Gangrel are only clan in name. They lack the unity or structure of most clans. Their core is shaped by personal might, self-reliance, and an ingrained instinct for survival, rather than allegiance to clan hierarchies or the chase for dominance. While others may be guided by principles, loyalty, or tradition, a Gangrel's compass always points to survival. To the Gangrel, survival isn't just a choice. It's an overwhelming instinct that can eclipse any bond or ethic. This fierce will to survive shapes their embrace. They often make their choice of who to embrace during their hunts. If a human fights back during the feeding, challenging the inevitable, they may find themselves gifted with Gangrel blood after their last heartbeat. This ancient practice, tracing back to Enoya's original warriors, gives birth to Gangrel, who possess an indomitable spirit of survival, even if they lack full preparation. Their embrace isn't a whimsical choice, it's calculated. The Gangrel eye those who've carved paths through adversity, shown leadership, or journeyed into the unknown. They value deeds and reputation. They seek out those who stand out in strength and dominance, turning them and then stepping back, watching their struggle. For the Gangrel sire, there's no pride like seeing their child endure. But if weakness shows, they'd rather see them fall than risk the clan's strength. The very essence of the Gangrel attracts natural leaders, sometimes leading to an imbalance, too many wanting to lead. But while dominance clashes are common, they rarely spell doom. The older members encourage healthy rivalry over grudges. As the wilds wane and cities expand, they have evolved. Younger members, versed in the urban dance, redefine territories from sprawling forests to street corners. Modern tech has been embraced, with the Gangrel using their unique abilities to move discreetly in a digital age. And as society leans back towards nature, they find roles that echo their ancestral ways. In today's cutthroat corporate jungle, their primal essence finds a place, proving that irrespective of the era, a Gangrel's spirit remains indomitable. Gangrel embody a raw, primal connection to the beast within, often prioritizing it over their human side. This bond with the wild manifests in their unique powers. Their command over the animalism discipline allows them to forge connections with creatures, obtaining what's known as a famulus. Such beasts can be allies in tasks ranging from hunting to espionage or even combat. It's not unheard of for a Gangrel to twist this bond, making pets betray masters or causing strays to become prey. In their roles as defenders and enforcers for other kindred clans, the Gangrel have honed their affinity for the fortitude discipline. This grants them notable endurance, making them adept at navigating hostile environments and shrugging off damage from weapons, be it bullets or blades. Their true signature, however, lies in the Protean discipline, which offers them unmatched shape-shifting prowess. They can meld their body into the earth or adopt forms of powerful creatures. Their versatility is legendary. Some ancient Gangrel even assume the guises of mythical entities like griffins or dragons. Their abilities span from using claws as projectiles to discerning deep truths from the auras they observe. Many can also morph into predators like wolves or more elusive forms like bats, leveraging the strengths of these forms. The Gangrel have a much stronger connection to their inner beast. Every frenzy imprints on them, often yielding animal-like traits. Some of these fade, but others etch into them permanently. Elders of the clan might wear countless such marks, pushing them further from their human semblance. It's a tangible echo of the beast lurking beneath us all, always itching to break free. Additionally, Gangrel can be overwhelmed by this beastly nature, becoming so primal that speech eludes them, clothing feels confining, and disputes are settled with raw, animalistic aggression. If ever you face a Gangrel, know this: direct confrontation is perilous. These kindred are masters of adaptability, ranking among the fiercest fighters of our kind. Outsmarting them is your key. In the open wild, their prowess is unparalleled, making use of every element nature offers. Confine them indoors, restricting their use of protean to flee. This might give you a brief window, a moment where you can predict and possibly outmaneuver them. The Hecata stand distinct among the Kindred clans. As the newest addition to the 13, their domain is the enigma of death. Originating from the melding of the Giovanni, remnants of the ancient clan Cappadocian, and 8 other bloodlines, they don't hail from a singular progenitor. Instead, they represent a fresh, largely cohesive clan of death, delving deep into its mysteries via their prowess in necromancy. Each lineage contributes its unique approach and technique, and while the influence of the Giovanni is dominant, they span a wider lineage. As other significant clans have aligned with major factions, the Hecata remain the last significant independent clan in modern Knights. The clan was formed out of necessity. The Giovanni were struck by the Second Inquisition, compelling them to retreat and consolidate their power in their ancestral stronghold of Italy. Amidst this upheaval, whispers grew about the nearing conclusion of the Promise of 1528, a significant covenant believed to expire after a cryptic 500-year duration. In parallel to these challenges, 2 significant incidents drastically altered the landscape for the Giovanni. Augustus Giovanni, the foundational pillar and patriarch of the clan, mysteriously disappeared, leaving a leadership void. At the same time, the Giovanni's treasured Venetian assets were attacked, orchestrated by the vengeful harbingers of skulls. This assault was made even more painful by the betrayal of certain younger Giovanni members who aided the harbingers. In the face of these existential threats, the Giovanni extended an olive branch, proposing a historic negotiation dubbed the Family Reunion. To the surprise of many, the call was heeded not just by the expected harbingers, but also by a diverse range of bloodlines, including the Samedi, the dwindling Cappadocians, the Lamia, and even a few Nagaraja, who sought sanctuary from their own unspecified disaster. The culmination of these discussions was the birth of Clan Hecata, a new and unified clan of death. At present, they are united by a singular purpose: to usher in the endless night. This ambitious endeavor seeks to dismantle the veil separating the living from the spirit world, harnessing the might of 100 million souls. This shared vision binds them with a cohesion unmatched by other clans, elevating them to a stature rivaling the most influential kindred factions. However, the establishment of Clan Hecata hasn't been received well by everyone in our society. The Camarilla, in particular, views them with suspicion and apprehension. The enigmatic promise of 1528 looms large in their considerations, with the inner circle deeply unsettled by their minimal influence over this new clan. The power and potential of the clan is undeniable, and many within the Camarilla's ranks argue for its dissolution, fearing the formidable capabilities of this consolidated clan of death. The Hecata, in their pursuit of unity, have largely embraced the organizational structure of the Giovanni, given the Giovanni's historical dominance and organization. While there were dissenting voices against this new structure, many found solace in the stability it brought. Unlike the territorial dominions of the Camarilla, the Hecata's power dynamics hinge on clan influence in particular areas, steered by prominent figures. Their primary base is the Grand Mausoleum in Venice, where both young and old clan members adhere to the dictates of their ancient leaders. Central to this influence are mandates from notable entities: the Capuchin, with deep connections to the Church, the Guiding Council of Anziani, and the 1444 Chamber, an inner circle within the council comprising the elite necromancers, leading the clan in the intricacies of the endless night. The Hecata prioritize trust and loyalty due to their many secrets. They're not just kindred linked by blood. They represent ancient traditions predating many modern institutions. New Hecata members, especially from the Giovanni line, have pre-existing ties with their sires, often spanning lifetimes. They use familial titles to reflect their relationships both by blood and within the clan. However, those embraced outside the tight Giovanni circle, unfamiliar with these traditions, are often viewed with suspicion and given limited roles, emphasizing the clan's deep-rooted value on heritage. The clan values individuals with a morbid or pragmatic nature over those with excessive compassion. They describe their embrace as a gift to the exceptional, granting them membership in an exclusive household. Spontaneous embraces are discouraged, The clan prefers a meticulous method of selecting, preparing, and voting on worthy mortals for immortality. Those with experience or knowledge related to death, medicine, the occult, or the afterlife, particularly individuals with a scientific curiosity about death, are prime candidates. While academic theologians are embraced over the blindly faithful, the clan's members span a range of professions from healthcare to necromancy, and even illicit trades such as killers, con artists, and money launderers. These varied members contribute to the clan's mix of legitimate and illegal businesses, ensuring a continuous supply of resources. Hecata are intrigued by the changing nature of their blood and the evolution of their favored disciplines over time. They wonder if recent events, like the formation of the Hecata and the loss of many Giovanni elders, might be the cause. Notably, some Giovanni now lean towards more forceful disciplines like dominate over auspex, while the Samedi prefer the stealth of obfuscate. Their resilience is unmatched, epitomized by their mastery of fortitude. This ability shields them from physical adversities, whether it's a punch, a bullet, or flames. Their close bond with death, more profound than other clans, manifests in their corpse-like resilience to injuries, remaining unmoved and impassive. Even under duress, they brush off harm and stay unwaveringly on course. Their mental defenses are equally robust, reflecting a profound detachment from mortal frailties. The Hecata possess a unique skill pivotal to their deep delve into the mysteries of death: necromancy. At its core, this is a potent form of blood magic that engages with the deceased in the spectral domain, often referred to as the Shadowlands. There are a multitude of different paths a necromancer can take to interact with the world of the dead, with each bloodline having a unique path, as well as individual Hecata learning multiple paths and combining them for unique effects. In modern nights, necromancy operates on two foundational tenets: the principle of authority and the principle of taboo. The former is rooted in ancient beliefs of a structured cosmos, with necromancers employing this principle, viewing spirits as tools, manipulating them through symbols and ceremonies that exude dominance. Conversely, the principle of taboo thrives on transgressing societal boundaries to amass power. The more profound the breach, the greater the derived force, often leading necromancers to engage with human remains. However, wielding necromancy is not without its toll. The very act can taint the environment, leading to effects called sequelae. These repercussions erode the divide between the living and the departed, and can manifest as visible decay on the one invoking the magic. The severity of these manifestations varies, dictated by both the intensity and frequency of the necromantic endeavors. The Hecata clan exhibits a peculiar blend of fascination and emotional detachment, possibly stemming from their continual dealings with the deceased. Drawn to signs of ailment or impending demise, they compulsively study others. They face challenges in various endeavors until they either foresee a natural death or ascertain the reason for a recent one. Their predictions, while not always spot on, must hold water. Unlike the gentle, intensely pleasurable bite of most kindred, the Hecata's bite is agonizing. This curse traces back to the Giovanni, following their leader's consumption of the kindred Lamia's essence. This act brought forth a curse upon him and all his descendants. The torturous nature of their bite means feeding is a challenging ordeal, often requiring the victim to be held down. Young one, heed my words. Tangling with a Hecata is a dangerous game. When you challenge one, you draw the ire of the entire clan. They are bound by ties thicker than blood and will defend their own fiercely. If you find yourself cornered, disrupt their bond with the spirits they command. Many of these spirits serve not by choice but by coercion, and when freed, they might turn on their former masters. Moreover, pull a Hecata from their familiar haunts, and you'll find them less formidable, but tread with caution always. The Lasombra are elusive and ambitious kindred who prioritize their own success and influence over mere symbolic power. They view themselves as dark nobility. Instead of resisting their inner beast like most kindred, they master it, invoking its power when needed. They have a disdainful view of concepts like redemption and salvation, often mocking former beliefs and practices. Yet, they still value the rituals of the church and aristocracy, playing a pivotal role in establishing many rituals of the Sabbat. This ensures order amidst potential chaos. Guided by the mysterious figure of the Lasombra Antediluvian, their hand was prominent during the time of the Sea Peoples that once held sway over the Mediterranean in the 2nd millennium BC. With a natural affinity for the waters, Sicily served as their stronghold, radiating their reach across naval civilizations. Even as they faced adversity from Greeks and Romans, the Lasombra stood tall, casting long shadows during the days of the Roman Empire. As the Dark Ages unfolded, the clan played crucial roles in the spiritual dynamics of the Mediterranean, deeply entwined with both the Roman Catholic Church and Islamic realms. This era saw the clan navigating internal battles, notably during Spain's Shadow Reconquista. Their story took a dramatic turn during the Anarch Revolt with the demise of the Lasombra Antediluvian at the hands of Gratiano de Veronese, reshaping the clan's hierarchy and birthing the Sabbat. The Lasombra would become the Sabbat's leading light, transitioning from political dominance to a more forceful approach. In contemporary times, they have shown resilience, drawing members from varied walks of life and amplifying their economic prowess. As challenges like the Second Inquisition and Gehenna loom large, they find themselves at a crossroads, with a notable segment eyeing alignment with the Camarilla, igniting internal discord and battles for supremacy. The clan clings to the traditions of high aristocracy, with historical titles and offices still holding significance. Their structure is reminiscent of ancient courts and churches, marked by a system of patronage, mentorship, and lineage. The reputation of a sire can greatly benefit their childer, and achievements that raise one's status in the sect or clan can also uplift their peers, especially if they attribute their success to their fellow Lasombra. Their world is one of constant political chess, where each move is as dangerous as it is deliberate. While some may view this web of deceit as a detriment, they see it as a filtration system, weeding out those who can't withstand the pressure. To exist among them means always being on guard, always anticipating the next play. There are codes they abide by, but outwitting these very codes, without facing the repercussions, is considered an art. These principles emphasize astute choices. Blind actions against formidable allies are discouraged, yet a well-executed strategy against a competitor is commendable. Their tactical prowess can be likened to Machiavellian mastery, and nothing is more satisfying for them than an adversary left in awe of their brilliance. The Lasombra's thirst for influence is evident in their roles within the Sabbat, often pulling strings from the backdrop, influencing mortal structures like the church. Their assertive tendencies mean they employ methods, such as the blood bond and dominate, to assure unwavering fidelity from those they oversee. Beyond the known spheres of the Sabbat, they foster their own inner circle, known as the Friends of the Night. This is the gateway to esteem within the clan, encompassing the enigmatic courts of blood, guardians of the ritual of Diablaire. Though Diablaire is intrinsic to their ethos, its practice is kept in check, reserved for those deemed unworthy of their eternal curse. Yet as winds of change blow, there's speculation on how the Lasombra's traditions will evolve, especially as they court the Camarilla's favor. Lasombra take pride in their ceaseless competition for power and control. While they openly celebrate this culture, some privately find the constant strife wearisome over time. It's even rarer for them to confess a longing for virtues outside their clan's reputation or to admit the pressures of leadership. They believe that strict systems are doomed to fail, so they have flexible, locally autonomous institutions. They embrace a Darwinian philosophy, valuing strength and the relentless pursuit of power, while discarding weakness and sentimentality. Their favorite candidates are members of society who are often overshadowed or don't work in the spotlight, but behind the scene, such as advisors, assistants, or secretaries. Such individuals often wield considerable influence, though it is often overshadowed by their superiors. Among these, the ones who harbor resentment due to their overshadowed roles are particularly desirable to them. Once a potential candidate is found, the sire will strip them of what they cherish most to assess their resilience. Those who can't endure are abandoned. The goal is to ensure the candidate has enduring motivation, vital for kindred survival. The Lasombra value those who feel detached from society but have a far-reaching vision. The life of a newly embraced Lasombra is fraught with danger and uncertainty. Less than 10% of all embraces will make it past 50 years. This process ensures that only the strongest exist, making them some of the most dangerous kindred to come across on an individual level. If they manage to survive, these new Lasombra often rise rapidly within kindred society, catching their peers off guard with their ascent to power. The clan stands as formidable figures in the kindred hierarchy, their dominion over darkness evident in their unique disciplines. With the ability to bend minds, influence actions, and alter memories through dominate, their control is forthright, lacking the finesse seen in clans like the Ventrue and Toreador. This straightforward deployment of their mind-controlling ability often finds criticism among other clans. Yet, its efficiency in making victims willingly bare their necks for feeding cannot be denied. Their physical prowess, underlined by the discipline of potence, grants them immense physical strength. While some might employ potence during feeding, most Lasombra deem it vulgar to overpower their prey. Instead, they harness this strength in shows of dominance, ensuring their dominance is recognized and feared. The most defining trait of the Lasombra is their unparalleled command over shadows, encapsulated in the discipline of obtenebration. This art, which concerns the ethereal manipulation of darkness, is closely linked with abyss mysticism, a revered practice within the clan. Wielding obtenebration is said to further sever a kindred's connection to the divine, dragging them deeper into the enigmatic abyss. Such wielders often exude an uncanny aura, deterring both beasts and men. The more adept exhibit notable changes, such as eyes transformed into abyssal voids or erratic shadow behaviors. Obtenebration boasts a spectrum of abilities, from mere shadow play to forging tangible entities from darkness. Among these powers are the reshaping of natural shadows, engulfing spaces in impenetrable blackness, birthing tendrils from the gloom, morphing into shadow entities, traversing via shadows, and momentarily dimming the sun in specific locales. In the hands of a true master, this discipline can even cast beings into the abyss for considerable spans. Lasombra are characterized by their relentless ambition, viewing setbacks not as mere hurdles, but as challenges to be overcome with even more fervor. This drive pushes them to employ every tool, strategy, and plot at their disposal to achieve their goals. Yet among the myriad of challenges they face, one stands out: their peculiar relationship with reflections. The absence of a reflection is a glaring tell for those familiar with the telltale signs, while the uninitiated might attribute this anomaly to a glitch or a mere quirk. Particularly old or powerful Lasombra can also have their obtenebration powers come through on video or in reflection, even when they are not using it. You may have seen images of blurry figures with tendrils, or images where people's shadows are distorted into terrifying things. These are usually the work of a Lasombra. Touch screens, voice-activated systems, and other modern devices often fail or falter under their touch, hinting at their discordant existence within our tech-driven world. Many struggle with these technological anomalies, but as a workaround, many rely on mortals or even craft ghouls to handle these digital tasks on their behalf. So prevalent is this practice that a Lasombra without such aid is considered an outlier within the clan's ranks. Listen closely, fledgling. One versed in obtenebration is a formidable force in hand-to-hand combat. If you cross paths with such a being, it's wise to keep a distance and strike from a range. Brightness is your ally. It curtails their power. Remember, a Lasombra can harness even the slightest shadow, including your own. Use illumination to level the field and seize your chance to counter. The Malkavians are a mysterious and mentally unstable clan, known for their prophetic insights, bizarre compulsions, and ability to see beyond normal perceptions. They are unique among the kindred because its members suffer from inherent madness, earning them the moniker of lunatics. Upon being embraced into the clan, each Malkavian is struck with an overwhelming insanity that colors their perceptions forever. The nature of a Malkavian's madness can vary greatly, from recognized mental disorders to perceiving unseen forces or believing oneself to be a living embodiment of a concept. Their erratic behaviors and viewpoints can range from violent outbursts to periods of paralyzing fear due to perceived cosmic threats. Interacting with them can be challenging, not only for other kindred but for anyone they come across. Malkav, their ancestor, embraced by a member of the second generation, emerged as a visionary. After the demise of the second generation, treachery befell Malkav. Allegedly slain by his fellow Antediluvians, many Malkavians contend he persists, woven into their collective psychic tapestry known as the Cobweb or Madness Network. The Dark Ages were a tumultuous period for them. Often eyed with distrust and sympathy, many faced scorn more for their erratic minds than their vampiric essence. However, several carved niches for themselves, serving as trusted counsel and jesters to dominant Cainite rulers. As time progressed, new horizons opened for them. Immersed in diverse ideological and religious discourses, they danced gracefully amid the political mazes of both mortals and the Camarilla. As the era of Freud and Jung emerged, traditional notions of madness shifted to more structured psychiatric paradigms. This evolution enabled Malkavians to explore the depths of their inherent disorder in innovative ways. While some took roles as therapists, others donned the patient's mantle. Today, Malkavians navigate cityscapes with their distinct insight and inner melodies. They see cities as enigmatic canvases, and every Camarilla court as an intricate puzzle. Always ready to upend the established order, they keep fellow kindred on their toes, pushing the ill-prepared into the shadows. Their unique lens of viewing reality often reveals obscured truths or sequences. This knack marks them as invaluable to entities like the Camarilla, who capitalize on their singular talents and viewpoints. Yet they hold multifaceted ties with groups like the Sabbat and the Anarchs, each alliance serving varying agendas. The clan, at first glance, seems disjointed, with many of its members barely recognizing their clan association, especially those in the Sabbat. The most prominent connections within the clan are sire-child bonds, though sires often abandon their offspring. However, delving deeper reveals a world of intricate, seemingly random interactions and gatherings that Malkavians mysteriously sense and attend. This seemingly chaotic behavior suggests a hidden, intricate organization among them, with enigmatic objectives unknown even to themselves. Central to this clandestine organization is the Cobweb or Madness Network, a collective consciousness connecting all Malkavians. While the intensity of this connection varies, every member can sense and engage with it. This network retains the memories of deceased Malkavians. Though its intricacies remain a mystery even to its members, elders demonstrate the ability to influence their kin through it. There are even whispers that ancient Methuselahs might exist within the Cobweb, ready to manifest through their descendants, and that the presence of influential Malkavians can be felt within this network. The Malkavian clan, though often perceived as chaotic and unhinged, possesses a distinct hierarchy. Unlike their kindred counterparts, their stature doesn't stem from ancient lineage or sheer age, but from their journey through the distinct phases of Malkavian understanding. Initiates into the clan, termed fools, wrestle with their fresh affliction of lunacy. Often drowning in their inner turmoil, they find it challenging to engage with the broader kindred society. Their vulnerability makes them easy prey for rival clans, and their early pranks are dismissed as mere distractions. With time, those who endure evolve into maniacs. This phase is characterized by a more aggressive manifestation of their madness, often externalizing their inner chaos. To the rest of us, this phase has become the archetypal Malkavian, branding them as volatile outcasts. Still, their unpredictability makes them useful pawns in larger political machinations. Upon entering the madmen phase, there's a shift in perspective. These Malkavians recognize their condition as a blessing, not a curse. They become more methodical, devising intricate pranks to educate other kindred. This newfound clarity and purpose enabled them to climb societal ranks, orchestrating larger plans through their followers. The lunatics are those who've delved deep, grasping the core essence of their madness and the world's illusory fabric. They commit to grand gestures that rattle the kindred society's very core. The final stage for Malkavians sees them re-emerge as fools, but with layered wisdom. This cyclical rebirth highlights their evolving understanding, setting them apart from the stagnancy of other clans. These enlightened fools, with their grasp on reality's delicate threads, are both revered and mocked. They're willing to risk everything to challenge conventional views, epitomizing the duality of being both a master and a fool. When it comes to the embrace, the clan tends to favor those who exhibit intelligence, eccentricities, and often pre-existing inclinations towards madness. These chosen ones might hail from various backgrounds, many with tragic pasts or secrets. Many come from academic or therapeutic fields. Some potential embrace candidates have a trait the clans call broken, which marks them as ones who can see other realities and perspectives more clearly than others. These are the most coveted and are highly sought after. While perceived as deranged, they have honed their madness into mastery. They wield their disciplines with finesse, aiding their standing within the kindred society and simplifying the act of feeding. The power of Auspex grants them supernaturally heightened senses and the ability to pinpoint a mortal's emotional vulnerabilities. Using this understanding, Malkavians often entice their prey into revealing intimate details only to feed on them soon after. It's not widely recognized among kindred that Malkavians possess the discipline of obfuscate. They don't flaunt it or sell their services like other clans. Malkavians discreetly use it for a myriad of purposes, ranging from silently observing kindred gatherings to slyly stalking unsuspecting mortals. Their most standout discipline is known as dementation. It channels a Malkavian's insanity, allowing them to tap into deep insights or share and spread their madness with others. The discipline also seemingly strengthens their connection to the madness network, allowing for the user to become more in tune with it. Its use, however, demands a touch of mental instability, making it a rare skill for non-Malkavians to acquire. The depth of dementation is vast. Initiates can heighten or suppress emotions, inflict unsettling visions, or decipher insights from random patterns. As their proficiency grows, they can sow more intense confusion, evoke heightened emotional states, or even plunge individuals into temporary bouts of madness. More advanced users can connect with others across vast distances through the madness network, alter personalities, instill permanent derangements, or reshape foundational beliefs. A master of dementation can incite widespread chaos, render several individuals catatonic, or even heal certain mental ailments and offer protection against specific mental intrusions. Malkavians are complex creatures. Their connection to a vast, shared consciousness can tax their minds, sometimes to the point of overwhelming them. Their unique extrasensory gifts, often unpredictable, can offer glimpses into truths or future events. However, the insights they receive are often cryptic, understood truly only by the Malkavian themselves, further cementing their reputation as enigmatic, even delusional among our ranks. Every embraced Malkavian inherits some form of mental disorder, which could amplify existing conditions or introduce new instabilities. This makes their actions unpredictable, resulting in both moments of clarity and chaos. Many kindred approach Malkavians with caution due to their volatile nature. Listen closely, fledgling. The Malkavians might not be known for their prowess in combat, but it would be a mistake to dismiss them lightly. Their erratic nature ensures that no two encounters are alike, and their power to spread their own madness can spiral situations into chaos swiftly and out of your control. Intense stimuli, whether it's sound, light, or otherwise, can easily overwhelm and incapacitate them. Use this to your advantage should you ever come into conflict with one. The Nosferatu serve as the unseen architects of knowledge within the undead realm, adeptly weaving webs of information and trading it at a steep cost. They are composed of deformed and generally grotesque kindred who are morphed and transformed by the embrace. Due to their nightmarish appearances, they often remain hidden, facing disdain or outright fear from other kindred. Despite their external deformities, the Nosferatu are skilled at gathering secrets, earning them a reluctant recognition as the primary information dealers among the kindred. This ability to gather intel, combined with the tendency of other kindred to underestimate or overlook them, allows the Nosferatu to exploit situations to their advantage. Their story begins with the Antediluvian Ab-Similiard. Once a vision of unmatched beauty, he bore a pride that was rivaled only by his vanity. When Zilla, a second-generation kindred, embraced him, The act left a subtle scar on his visage, forever marring his perfection. In his fury, Absimiliard turned against and plotted the demise of the second generation. For this betrayal, Caine's punishment was severe. Absimiliard was transformed into a grotesque form, a curse that would touch every one of his offspring. By the era of the Second City, Absimiliard had sired a group of followers, all loyal except one woman who fled. This fleeing woman, later termed the Matriarch, is believed to be the progenitor of the modern Nosferatu clan. Through his Niktuku, Absimiliard seeks to eradicate all descendants of the Matriarch, in the hopes that Caine will forgive his transgressions. Nosferatu have always been seen as one of the lesser clans, yet in the shadows they recognized the power they held. Being unnoticed or disregarded allowed them to attack their kindred betters subtly, such as poisoning water or spreading disease, leveraging it against tyrannical kindred rulers. They found solace amidst the fringes of society, their disfigurement sometimes mistaken for ailments such as leprosy. Given societal perceptions equating beauty with spiritual purity, they practiced discretion. They often chose to reside in crime-ridden zones, using the architecture to their advantage for safety and control. In modern nights, they have showcased an uncanny aptitude for technology, transforming old Cold War bunkers into subterranean sanctuaries and crafting ShrekNet for information sharing. However, the 21st century saw the U.S. compromise ShrekNet, leading to a series of events including the Second Inquisition and the subsequent disbanding of the network by the Camarilla. Still, through all challenges, the Nosferatu persist as influential figures in kindred circles. Nosferatu often band together, creating groups or gatherings referred to as broods or even cults. They take refuge in hidden, secluded dens deep beneath the surface. Many times, these pockets of Nosferatu society grow vast and remain secrets even from the most influential kindred above. It's common for them to share these hidden refuges, providing safety in numbers. Their ways of communicating are intricate, combining the modern with the arcane, leaving most kindred perplexed. A sense of clan unity is paramount for them. Their disfigured visages make them rely more on their own kind for both protection and provision. Experience and age define the clan structure, with the older Nosferatu guiding the younger, showing them the ropes. Everyone has a role to play, often centered around fortifying their havens or ensuring the brood's survival. Ironically, being the most visually monstrous and ostracized of the clans has also made them the most human and united. The Nosferatu endure a profound transformation upon their embrace, their bodies wrenching and reshaping into forms that evoke the gravest of deformities and afflictions. This tormenting change often casts them in the likeness of horrors from ancient stories. Yet, due to this curse, they are among the most compassionate of us. Among the kindred, they wear their curse openly, unlike many who mask their inner demons. Many do not even favor the vitae of humans. Rather, they choose animals like rats or pigeons. To blend in, many harness their vampiric powers to mimic others or vanish from sight. Others might employ cosmetics and artificial means to veil their disfigured visage. They embrace two types of individuals: those for whom becoming a kindred is an improvement in their life, including the homeless, antisocial, mentally ill, and other marginalized people, and those for whom the transformation is a downgrade, like beauty queens or the privileged. Revenge embraces are common, leading the Cleopatras of the latter group to live difficult lives within the clan. The weight of their altered form instills in many Nosferatu a deep sense of solitude and estrangement. Their response to this malediction varies. Some embody the malevolence their visage hints at, while others navigate the world as melancholic pariahs. The Nosferatu stand unparalleled as gatherers of secrets and intel. Not only are they exceptional in sourcing information among the kindred, but they also possess the means to protect themselves when situations spiral. The discipline of animalism is held in high esteem by them for its diverse advantages. It bolsters their covert operations, aids in conversing with creatures, lets them call upon animals for offense or defense, and even presents an alternative dietary option by feeding on animals like pigeons. For quick confrontations, the Nosferatu harness the potent's discipline. They lean towards rapid strikes, useful for brief feeds or overpowering foes. Yet, they often exercise restraint in flaunting potence around humans, wary of revealing their clandestine existence. As for the discipline of obfuscate, many among us proclaim them its true masters. They deftly employ it in their covert operations, leaving many to speculate about their omnipresence in kindred dealings. This skill proves invaluable for them, both in espionage and discreet interactions with humans. The Nosferatu bear their curse openly, their visage a stark testament to their condition. While others might yearn for the allure of different clans, each lineage carries its own burden. Living on the fringes of kindred society, they find solace among their own, making the rest of the kindred world seem the anomaly. To many of them, their appearance isn't a mark of damnation, but a badge of raw authenticity. Their directness is their strength, demanding those who seek their counsel to face unvarnished truths. Beyond their curse, they possess a fervent drive to uncover secrets, rivaled only by their thirst for blood. They cherish hidden knowledge, often keeping it close, sharing only when a worthy trade presents itself. This insatiable hunger for the concealed is what cements their reputation as unparalleled gatherers of intelligence and clandestine watchers. The Nosferatu may appear vulnerable, given their distinct looks and often reclusive nature. Yet it's a grave mistake to underestimate them. In terms of raw power, they stand toe-to-toe with the likes of the Brujah and Lasombra, and their ability to gather information is unparalleled. If confrontation is unavoidable, isolating them from their territories, where they hold fewer alliances, can be beneficial. Employing disciplines like auspex can counter their obfuscate techniques, giving us an edge. However, never lower your guard. A Nosferatu might be silently observing, gathering knowledge just out of sight. The Ravnos are nomadic illusionists, spiritualists, and drifters. They embody the spirit of reckless adventure, ardently embracing the precarious dance of existence on the edge. Often labeled as impure or malevolent, they've been sidelined in the kindred circles. Their prowess in manipulation and their uncanny ability to craft illusions allows them to bend perceptions, either to allure or to threaten. Like many clans, the origins of their progenitor have multiple legends attached to them. Some speak of Dracian, believed to be the original Ravnos, turned by Irad the Strong to spy upon the third generation. But betrayal ran in Dracian's blood, and he soon turned against his own, leading the treachery against the second generation. Another version speaks of a being named Zapathasura, tasked by divine entities to quell demons and maintain world equilibrium. He sired 5 progeny, the very foundation of the Ravnos line, to stand beside him in his crusades. Yet as time spun on, these progeny grew weary of the unending wars and abandoned Zapathasura. The clan's origins lie in India. As time moved on, a portion of the clan journeyed from India's heartlands towards the west, causing cultural rifts. The Western Ravnos, over time, became distant echoes of their origins, while their Indian counterparts adopted a system of castes. The Camarilla would acknowledge the Ravnos' deep-seated influence in India. However, the Ravnos in the West remained on the fringes, often countering societal conventions and leveraging the era's intrigue with the mystical. Modern nights proved difficult for the Ravnos. Their long-standing frictions with the Caitiff in India reached a boiling point, culminating in widespread embraces and the eventual revival of their antediluvian Zapathasura in 1999. This cataclysmic event, known as the Week of Nightmares, pitted the revived ancient against an array of supernatural adversaries, from mages and Caitiff to werewolves. Although these forces managed to bring him down, Zapathasura's dying breath barred a curse that sent his descendants into a devastating frenzy, nearly wiping out the clan. The remnants of the Ravnos returned to their wandering ways, always on alert, always in motion. They've adapted, wearing masks of various identities and seeking safe refuges, but their existence remains fraught with challenges. Before the events of the Week of Nightmares, the Ravnos were divided into its western and eastern factions. Western Ravnos generally operated as independent figures, yet they would sometimes project an illusion of clan cohesion and cultural ties. They might join forces in the face of mutual adversaries, be it domineering princes or Sabbat incursions, but these unions tended to evaporate once the immediate threat subsided. On the other hand, Eastern Ravnos crafted their distinct caste structure termed Jati. This system was reminiscent of traditional Hindu societal divisions, acting as subgroups within the clan itself. However, the aftermath of the Week of Nightmares reshaped the Ravnos landscape. Their numbers dwindled, and age-old structures fragmented, making formal clan affiliations sparse. Nevertheless, communal Ravnos have devised a coded system of communication to connect with each other, share information, and occasionally meet. Storytelling is integral to their gatherings, with many younger members weaving myths, linking themselves to trickster deities, and even forming groups dedicated to specific legendary figures. Kindred society, including the Camarilla, Sabbat, Anarchs, and even Autarkis, typically views the Ravnos with disdain and prejudice. They are often labeled as wicked, treacherous, and untrustworthy, with many not bothering to understand their true nature or motivations. Due to these biases, Ravnos tend to avoid aligning with any particular sect, preferring independence or small group affiliations. They value personal autonomy and believe that deep entanglements with others' destinies can impede their individual paths. Ravnos are often seen as tricksters and rogues, but they consider themselves philosophers pursuing a deeper truth. They are both modern and traditional, with their past playing a significant role in shaping their present identity. Their mission, as they see it, is to identify and destroy demonic entities hiding among humans. However, despite their noble intentions, they are easily swayed by temptations and vices. Most Ravnos are inherently self-centered, a trait that often predates their transformation into kindred. This innate detachment from human emotions allows many newly transformed Ravnos to adapt more seamlessly to their undead state than members of other clans. Western Ravnos typically embrace the marginalized or wanderers, yet they also see merit in those who carve new paths, be they innovators, thrill-seekers, or those who defy convention. In the East, the Ravnos view the embrace with a gravity and purpose. For them, a new member should only be embraced if it aligns with the sire's spiritual and moral duty, known as Svadharma. Those deeply rooted in Eastern practices make it a point to consult the most ancient among their clan before making the decision to embrace, ensuring the potential child is compatible with the sire's Svadharma. Once embraced, the newly born are put through an intensive period of learning, absorbing the clan's rich history and narratives. This is more than just passing down tales. It's a way to foster reverence for their heritage. Typically, a child's apprenticeship under their sire stretches over 10 years, marked by observation, education, and collaboration. During this period, they are also prompted to reflect, aiming to discover their unique Svadharma, often different from that of their sire. Those who embrace their Ravnos heritage often offer their expertise as spies or intermediaries to the highest bidder. However, the majority can't sustain this lifestyle indefinitely. Whether due to amassed enemies, revengeful victims, or the curse in their blood, Ravnos inevitably find themselves on the move. The Ravnos might not be renowned for direct combat, but they excel in the arts of subterfuge, cunning, and stealth, adeptly leveraging these to catch foes and prey alike. These are not mere brutes. They wield charm and intimidation as deftly as any weapon, using their unique disciplines to bend situations to their advantage. They share an innate connection with particular animals: ravens, foxes, coyotes, spiders, and monkeys. This bond enhances their animalism abilities, allowing these creatures to serve as the Ravnos' eyes, distractions, or even allies. As such, a Ravnos is seldom truly alone on their journeys. The clan, split between its western and eastern branches, boasts varied capabilities. Some Ravnos can tap into the discipline of obfuscate, granting them not only the power to blend seamlessly into their surroundings, but also to weave complex and lasting illusions. Others lean into the strength of fortitude, which gives them remarkable resilience. This discipline can divert damage to nearby creatures, or even the assailants themselves, offer limited protection from sunlight, and bestow the adaptability that fortitude is known for among its practitioners. Chemistry is the hallmark discipline of the clan, and grants them the art of weaving intricate illusions. This gift has anchored their reputation as cunning deceivers and seers, The true origins of chemistry remain enshrouded in tales and whispers, but its efficacy is beyond doubt, tricking even those familiar with its beguiling capabilities. To master chemistry, a Ravnos has to momentarily be taken in by their own illusion, a dance on the edge of self-delusion. But mastery comes with risks. Conjuring the semblance of fire might trigger the Rotschreck, a deep-seated fear that ignites the primal instincts of the Kindred, enhancing their dread of fire and daylight. Chemistry's scope is bound by the creator's senses. A hearing-impaired Kindred can't simulate sounds, just as a blindfolded one cannot manifest visual deceptions. And while this discipline offers a veneer of true creation, it remains but a mirage. Seasoned practitioners occasionally find themselves ensnared by their own conjurations. The Ravnos bear a curse, one that traces back to the demise of Zapathasura under the scorching touch of the sun. This incendiary curse agitates their vitae if they remain still for extended periods. For them, the nomadic path isn't just tradition, it's an essential aspect of their unlife. Perhaps influenced by this internal blaze, they find themselves drawn to peril. Faced with a challenge, they're driven, almost compelled to engage. Such tendencies have painted them as outsiders, often taking actions reminiscent of the chaotic events during the Week of Nightmare. Should you ever find yourself face-to-face with a Ravnos, it is imperative to maintain clarity of thought and a vigilant stance. They are known for their ability to twist and reshape reality through chemistry to confound and mislead. While they might not exhibit overwhelming physical prowess, the potency of their arcane abilities cannot be downplayed. To counteract them, look for ways to incite frenzy in them, by instilling fear, amplifying their hunger, or any other means. A Ravnos in the throes of frenzy may find it challenging to muster the focus required to effectively employ chemistry. In dealings with them, remember, it's not just about physical might, but a battle of wits and awareness. Always tread with caution and foresight. The Toreador are embodiments of allure, passion, and charisma. For them, the shroud of night is not a curtain of darkness, but an expanse alive with wonder and intrigue. They find allure in the night's offerings, from the dance of politics to the seduction of the senses, all underlined by the ever-present hunger for blood. Such indulgences, while thrilling, can lead them down paths of excess. Over the centuries, the richness of life can wear thin, pushing some Toreadors to seek out ever greater extremes to stave off the stagnation of eternity. Arakel, the progenitor of the clan, was once a celebrated mortal artist in the First City, crafting visions of the Kindred's history and potential futures. But when her art foretold a grim path for Caine's lineage, he cursed her, turning her deep love for art into an insatiable fixation. Throughout its ancient history, the clan's loyalties were fluid. From Carthage to Rome and Constantinople, the Toreador always allied themselves with the winning side. During the Dark Ages, the clan was composed of brilliant creatives, troubadours, artists, and writers. Many found patronage within the Catholic Church, a major arts benefactor. The courts of love in France bore their imprint. Yet the establishment of the Camarilla saw some drift to the Sabbat, birthing the sadistic Toreador anti-tribu. The Renaissance, particularly in places like France, was a high point for the clan, though it also signaled a pivot from spiritual pursuits to more worldly desires. The Victorian age sang their praises. With increased leisure, arts and culture flourished in cities like London and New York. While the church's grip lessened, their influence grew in tandem with the emergent business elite, further cementing their place in the Camarilla. In modern nights, the Toreador embrace modern artistic avenues, using technology to craft their masterpieces. But with progress comes tension. Elders of the clan view the new wave of artists and influencers with skepticism, igniting debates on the essence of art and its portrayal in their ranks. They aren't bound by strict hierarchies. Rather, they convene in fluid assemblies termed clan matters. These might take the form of grand galas, art exhibitions, or sophisticated dialogues. Their lavish events are the talk of kindred society, making Toreador gatherings a beacon for those seeking a spark in their otherwise drab, undead lives. But these events aren't just for show. They're chessboards in the intricate game of kindred politics. Merely granting or denying an invite can speak volumes about one's stature in the vampiric circles. The Toreador have the upper hand to amass influence and collect debts, subtly positioning others to be in their debt. Watching attendees, noting their feeding choices and interactions with mortals, can shed light on their inclinations and motives. Yet a word of caution to you, my child. Secretly introducing one's own blood into shared reservoirs is a gamble, a game that, if exposed, can tarnish one's standing indefinitely. In urban settings, they form guilds, and though the name suggests an artistic bent, these guilds encompass all walks, artistic or otherwise. The one leading the guild is typically the city's most seasoned and influential Toreador, and within this group lies a sophisticated social web that tends to baffle those not part of it. Two broad categories emerge within the clan: artistes and poseurs. Artistes are those dedicated to classic art forms, be it sculpting, painting, melody, or prose. They believe they embody the core essence of what the clan stands for. Meanwhile, poseurs might be those less successful in artistic pursuits, those embraced because of passing fancies, critics, or even those who perceive their very form as their artistry. But it's worth noting these titles are often thrown around with a hint of disdain. Members typically don't label themselves as such. Ever enthralled by the ebb and flow of human existence, they delve deep into its intricacies. Humanity, with its raw emotions and fleeting moments, fascinates them, often seeming more vibrant than their kind. It's not rare for a Toreador to weave elaborate human personas, immersing themselves in the lives of mortals, perhaps even revisiting families from their life before the embrace. To some, this interplay is a canvas, where relationships become their artwork. Yet, this profound bond with humanity is both their strength and vulnerability. Heightened emotions make mortal interactions a heady experience, but they also bear the weight of anguish. They're cautioned, for good reason. Indulging in those they hold dear can spell disaster. The aftermath can be a chasm of grief and regret. However, the passage of time has a way of warping minds, and the elders are no exception. Their sanity has ebbed and flowed through the centuries, leading them to produce creations of unparalleled ingenuity and eccentricity. These works are the tangible results of minds that have navigated the depths of time, fractured yet undeniably immortal, capable of birthing artistry that could only emanate from beings as complex and timeless as the elder Toreador themselves. They tend to embrace two types of mortals: artists, encompassing a wide range of modern professions, and those who are business-savvy, critical, or simply beautiful. Despite criticisms from clans like Nosferatu and Brujah that they are overly indulgent with their offspring, the reality is harsher. Toreador sires are fickle. They might embrace someone for being trendy or exceptional one moment, only to find them outdated the next. This often results in young kindred being abandoned by their sires, leaving them to navigate their new existence on their own. Toreador, ever the spotlight seekers, revel in showcasing their gifts and allure. Drawn to the limelight, they captivate those around them, a characteristic deeply embedded in their disciplines. Through the Auspex discipline, they attune themselves to rare experiences, pinpointing those who might offer distinct thrills during their feeds. They also harness this power when dealing with other kindred, either to appeal to their whims or challenge them with harsh realities. Despite their self-proclaimed aversion to conflict, the Toreador's mastery over the celerity discipline suggests a different story. This power endows them with remarkable agility, enabling swift actions that catch adversaries off guard. Beyond combat, they leverage celerity to enhance their artistry or stealthily draw sustenance without alerting their mortal sources. The presence discipline, Toreadors weave an emotional tapestry, sometimes harmonizing it with Auspex, to hold an audience spellbound or overshadow a competing artist. This discipline also plays a role in their allure, magnetically pulling victims into their orbit, even if the attraction has supernatural origins. The Toreador stand unique among the kindred. While other clans may have received punishments, they were seemingly blessed by Caine for not participating in the killing of the second generation. This blessing ensures that they never lose their appreciation for human beauty. This heightened sense of beauty can sometimes be a hindrance, as they can become intensely captivated by beautiful sights or sounds to the point of obliviousness. Encountering something truly sublime, be it art, a person, or music, can cause a Toreador to become entranced, losing awareness of their surroundings entirely. This intense focus can be perilous, as they might be unaware of dangers or threats nearby. The world narrows down for them in these moments, and only upon snapping out of it do they realize potential threats or changes in their environment. Similarly, their attraction to beauty can turn into a fixation, holding their attention so tightly that they can't think of anything else. While this can lead them to acquire new talents and insights, it's also a double-edged sword, proving both beneficial and hazardous. At first glance, the Toreador might not strike one as formidable combatants. However, armed with the powers of celerity and presence, they can be quite the force to reckon with. It's crucial to consider their obsessive tendencies. While many are captivated by conventional beauty, beauty is a fluid concept. They might find allure in the art of combat, seeing elegance in conflict and honing various violent skills. Yet their deep-seated appreciation for beauty can be a double-edged sword. Present them with overwhelming, captivating beauty, and they might become vulnerable, lost in admiration and distraction. The Tremere are vampiric warlocks, secretive and cunning. They have mastery over powerful blood magics. They have solidified as essential members within the Camarilla and are one of the most powerful clans within the modern knights. Their combination of versatile powers and strong internal bonds make them formidable, leading some to see them as a threat and act against them. The Tremere's origin story diverges from that of most clans, which trace their lineage back to an Antediluvian. Instead, they originated as mages, specifically House Tremere, founded by Tremere himself. This group was once a part of the Order of Hermes, but they faced a decline in their magical abilities, and their potions of immortality effects began to wane as the first millennium came to a close. In response, Tremere authorized a series of experiments in search of a new method to extend their lives. One of his subordinates, Goratrix, suggested a radical solution involving vampirism. In the year 1022, Tremere and 7 of his closest advisors underwent a ritual, transforming them into kindred. This process would cut them off from their magical powers, but granted them the immortality they desired. As for any lingering regrets or second thoughts about their drastic choice, those sentiments remain locked away, shrouded in the enigma that is the Tremere clan. This transformation came with its share of challenges, both from within and out. Clan Tzimisce, on discovering the experiments, became enraged and attacked the Tremere. Meanwhile, the Order of Hermes, suspicious of their sudden and dramatic change, began scrutinizing their actions. In response, Tremere established a hierarchical structure for his new clan in 1037, placing himself at the top and enforcing loyalty through a blood bond. Over time, those within the house who harbored disloyalty were systematically eliminated or brought into the fold through the embrace. The Omen War marked the clan's early years as kindred, as the Tzimisce increased their efforts in destroying the Tremere. The loss of their magical abilities, combined with their inexperience as kindred, made them vulnerable, and despite their efforts, they struggled to gain acceptance among the established kindred clans, who valued tradition and saw them as outsiders. In an attempt to bolster their standing, Tremere sought out and diablerized Solo, the founder of the Salubri clan, in 1133, subsequently entering a deep slumber. Even with the new antediluvian power their founder now wielded, they continued to face challenges. Their continued hunt of the Salubri and their involvement in various political machinations eventually earned them a begrudging acknowledgement from other kindred clans. Their role in the Camarilla's formation further solidified their standing, but their actions during the Anarch Revolt, particularly their curse on the Banu Haqim, created new enemies. By 2008, the Tremere faced their biggest crisis. The Second Inquisition's raid on the Vienna Chantry disrupted their power structure and significantly weakened their influence. Without their rigid hierarchy, the Tremere found themselves in a precarious position, distrusted and fragmented. They now offer their services to the highest bidder in an attempt to regain their influence and power. The once unified clan is now a collection of competing factions, with loyalties and alliances shifting in the shadows. The Tremere originally was held in high regard for their rigid and well-defined hierarchy, often referred to as the Pyramid, which presented a facade of unity and cooperation to those on the outside, many of whom remained blissfully ignorant of the internal workings and dynamics at play. At the very pinnacle of this structure resided Tremere himself, the enigmatic founder. Following him were various tiers of the hierarchy, ranging from the influential Council of Seven down to the base, occupied by the acolytes just starting their journey. Each tier was meticulously divided into 7 distinct circles of mystery, indicative of a member's status, responsibilities, and standing within the clan. This strict and unwavering structure served as a powerful motivator, driving members to strive for excellence and adhere diligently to the clan's teachings, all in pursuit of ascending the ranks of the pyramid. Nevertheless, this journey was fraught with complexities and the subtleties of political maneuvering. In addition to the formal hierarchy, the clan harbored numerous secret societies, each with unique beliefs and objectives. Some of these societies, as long as they maintained allegiance to the clan, were tolerated, while others, particularly those with more nefarious intentions, remained concealed, well aware of the dire repercussions that discovery would bring. However, the landscape of the Tremere shifted dramatically following the destruction of the Vienna Chantry. In the wake of this cataclysm, the clan was in disarray, desperately seeking unity and a clear direction. 4 major houses emerged from the chaos. House Tremere, steadfast in its alignment with the Camarilla, continued to practice traditional hermetic arts. On a similar path, House Karna, primarily Camarilla-aligned, delved into contemporary witchcraft. The activities of House Goratrix remained shrouded in secrecy, while House Ipsissimus, which sided with the Anarchs, operated autonomously, foregoing central leadership. The Tremere clan has successfully shaped a perception of themselves as a tight-knit, strictly controlled society, a view that is broadly accepted by the wider Kindred community. Nevertheless, a closer look reveals that the internal workings of the clan are more intricate and layered than they appear at first glance. The hierarchy is complex, and adherence to it is a given, yet how individuals uphold and navigate this structure varies significantly. There are those in positions of power who rule with an iron fist, while others take a more lenient stance, keenly aware of the potential repercussions of pushing their subordinates too far. The pyramid structure of the clan fosters a sense of obedience, yet it would be naive to ignore the personal ambitions that drive each member. Those in leadership positions wield promises of progression, access to the clan's secretive and coveted thaumaturgical practices, and the lure of arcane knowledge as tools to secure loyalty and maintain control. From the outside looking in, the Tremere present a united and solid front, ever mindful of how they are perceived, especially in light of their contentious history. On the inside, however, this translates to a cutthroat and competitive atmosphere, saturated with political maneuvering and strategic plotting. The clan is also home to various factions and houses, ranging from informal gatherings to established schools of magic, each with unique dynamics and potential for internal strife. The Tremere's influence within the Camarilla is significant, and much of this is attributed to their unparalleled mastery of thaumaturgy and their unwavering commitment to the clan's collective goals. Their systematic and scientific approach to blood sorcery distinguishes them from other practitioners, resulting in a rich diversity of magical practices and rituals. Within the clan, knowledge and mastery of these esoteric arts are highly prized and serve as a form of currency and power. The Tremere approach the matter of embrace with a discerning eye, preferring individuals of strong character and assertive nature, capable of melding seamlessly with the collective identity of the clan. Those chosen often have a scholarly inclination, many having explored the realms of the occult, though this is not mandatory. Post-embrace, the clan wastes no time integrating new members into its intricate framework and guiding principles. Adherence to the Tremere Code becomes paramount, explaining the expectations and the consequences of disobedience. Historically, initiates would undergo a significant rite, the transubstantiation of 7, establishing a bond with the inner council. Yet the destruction of the Vienna Chantry has rendered this tradition obsolete. In its stead, a Tremere neonate engages in an exhaustive educational journey, straddling the dual responsibilities of mastering clan lore and navigating the complexities of their newfound vampiric life. This demanding endeavor does not come without its trials, as many fledglings grapple with the overwhelming pressure. This struggle can lead to instability or, in extreme cases, self-destruction. Within the sheltered halls of Clan Tremere, a multitude of houses and factions thrive, each contributing their distinct expertise and unique thaumaturgical practices. These diverse methodologies, intertwined with their inherent vampiric powers, fortify the Tremere, rendering them among the most versatile and formidable forces in any confrontation. In their pursuit of magical prowess, the Tremere have harnessed the power of Auspex, a discipline that sharpens their senses beyond mortal limitations and enhances their communicative capabilities. This discipline allows them to see the auras surrounding individuals, providing insight into their emotional allegiances, and even uncovering the hidden and the magical. Furthermore, Auspex enables the Tremere to communicate across distances in silence, ensuring their conversations remain confidential and secure. When the need to feed arises, Auspex proves invaluable. It aids the Tremere in identifying those individuals most susceptible to their influence, ensuring a more compliant quarry. Moreover, this discipline grants them the ability to delve deeper into the psyche of mortals, uncovering their vulnerabilities and making manipulation a more straightforward task. The Tremere are unyielding in their quest for knowledge and influence, and their reputation for doing whatever it takes to achieve their objectives is well earned. They expertly wield the Dominate discipline as a critical tool, bending mortals to their will and orchestrating events from the shadows. This manipulation can manifest in various forms, from simple acts of thievery to orchestrating betrayals, and even inflicting harm upon the ghouls of other kindred. When it comes to feeding, the Tremere show no hesitation in using Dominate to ensure their prey is compliant, guaranteeing a meal without struggle or resistance. The unique development and profound mastery of thaumaturgy has positioned Clan Tremere in a favorable position as a highly sought-after tool within our society. At its core, thaumaturgy represents an evolving tradition of blood sorcery, setting it apart from other mystical practices prevalent among the kindred. It draws from the Tremere's arcane origins as a group of mages, harnessing the potent magical properties of vitae. Its practice is structured through a series of paths, established manifestations of esoteric doctrines and rituals. While it offers a breadth of power and adaptability, thaumaturgy demands rigorous mental discipline and focus, bearing the risk of detrimental effects should the practitioner's attention waver. Their mastery of thaumaturgy has rendered the Tremere indispensable to the Camarilla, fulfilling various critical functions. However, overindulgence in thaumaturgy is not without its perils, potentially leading to a peculiar mental disarray known as thaumaturgical glossolalia. Those afflicted may, under duress, express themselves solely through thaumaturgical symbols and codes, their cognitive processes seemingly transitioning into an altered state, akin to a magical form of aphasia. Unbeknownst to them, their communication becomes incomprehensible, and their ability to grasp conventional language may deteriorate. The Tremere did not emerge through the standard channels of vampiric creation, leading to a unique existence free from the typical clan weaknesses. However, the destruction of the Vienna Chantry marked a significant shift in their state of being. This catastrophic event caused a retraction in their blood's potency, severing all pre-existing blood bonds and inhibiting the formation of new bonds within our kind. Yet their vulnerability to blood bonds from other clans remained intact. The Tremere's unique position and their prowess in blood sorcery might contribute to their tendency towards perfectionism. Striving for nothing short of excellence, they are relentless in their pursuit, viewing any result less than perfection as a profound personal failure. This drive pushes them to repetitively refine and perfect their tasks, a trait that, while contributing to their versatility and diligence, can also serve as an impediment. It occasionally traps them in cycles of repetition, making it challenging to progress and potentially leading to a state of stagnation. The Tremere, with their mastery over blood sorcery, have a distinct edge that makes them formidable among us. While close combat might not be their primary strength, thinking it's their only weakness would be a miscalculation. Even a novice has methods to balance their weaknesses, and an expert can shift the dynamics entirely. I've learned tactics to neutralize these blood mages if confrontation is unavoidable. Strike swiftly, incapacitate their hands, and seal their mouths to hinder their thaumaturgy. If the fight has already begun, break their concentration and strike. Move with caution and remain steadfast, for underestimating the Tremere can be costly. The Tzimisce are an ancient and venerable clan. They have honed their skills in the transformative art of flesh crafting to a masterful degree. These entities, often perceived as evil and detached, perceive humanity as little more than material to be sculpted and manipulated. They might present themselves as age-old nobility, exuding a sense of tradition and esteem, but this is a veneer to mask their underlying cruelty. They've cast aside what little humanity they once possessed, embracing the title of fiends. Shape-shifting at will, they mold themselves into forms they deem ideal. Their pride is unmistakable, and their honor has its limits, boasting of their role in ending their Antediluvian and aiding in the foundation of the Sabbat. The eldest founder of the Tzimisce clan remains an enigmatic figure, believed to be a creation of the second generation and a byproduct of Enoch's expulsion of his primal instincts. The eldest embodies a multitude of traits: rage, change, whimsy, intuition, and imagination, all hallmark qualities of the modern Tzimisce. However, their journey soon led them away from their kin, venturing into the depths of Eastern Europe and the Carpathian Mountains. Here, a fateful encounter with Kupala, a potent and bound demon, would result in a pact. Under the demon's guidance, the eldest attempted to free it, culminating in the event known as Kupala's Night. While it resulted in the demon's partial freedom, it also bound the eldest to the Carpathian Mountains, intertwining their fates. Over time, the Tzimisce established dominion over a significant portion of Eastern Europe, despite facing substantial threats during the Dark Ages. One of their most formidable challenges emerged with the rise of the Tremere, who managed to usurp the secrets of vampirism from the Tzimisce. This ignited a long-standing animosity that persists today, although the younger generation may not fully grasp the depth of this centuries-old grudge. As leaders of the Anarch Revolt alongside the Lasombra, they played a pivotal role in the assassination of their Antediluvian, subsequently forming the Sabbat and expanding their influence across Europe. However, this period of power was fleeting, marking the onset of their decline. Their traditional and aristocratic ethos became obsolete in the face of a modernizing world. As science unraveled the mysteries of folklore and superstition, the Tzimisce's once terrifying reputation diminished. Concurrently, the Tremere's power ascended, while the subjugated peasantry began to rise up against their oppressors. Confronted with these challenges, they retreated into obscurity, even as they embraced the era's scientific advancements for their experiments in mutable forms. The clan finds itself in a precarious position in these modern nights. Their Antediluvian, once believed to be dead, has transformed into a vast pseudo-fungal entity beneath the tri-state area, possessing the extraordinary ability to create multiple consciousnesses and bodies, and threatens the entire eastern coast. On the political front, while the majority of Tzimisce remain affiliated with the Sabbat, a notable contingent, particularly among the younger and more disenfranchised members, has drifted towards the Anarch movement. Additionally, a select few have chosen to align with the Camarilla for strategic purposes, despite their tenuous acceptance within its ranks. In the modern era, the Tzimisce's hierarchical organization has largely diminished, with power being the most important factor within their structure. For many, the easiest way to garner respect is through displaying their mastery of flesh crafting. Those who have awakened their Zulo shape or war form are held in the highest regard, and are known as Zupans. They hold the authority to make suggestions to their lesser clanmates, which, while not obligatory, are expected to be respected. Disregarding a Zupan is considered a grave disrespect and can lead to strained relations. In the Sabbat, Tzimisce members often assume roles as spiritual leaders and scholars, unlike the Lasombra clan, which gravitates towards leadership and control. Some speculate that the Tzimisce's commitment to the Sabbat may be superficial, driven more by their disdain for Camarilla clans, particularly the Tremere, and the Camarilla's policy of blending in with humans. Nevertheless, those Tzimisce who genuinely embrace the Sabbat ideals are highly regarded and sometimes feared for their dedication and contributions to the sect. In Eastern Europe, the commitment to the Sabbat is even more tenuous, with many Tzimisce paying only nominal allegiance to the sect, choosing instead to pursue their own solitary existences. These Tzimisce are often ancient and powerful, and as such, they are generally given a wide berth by the rest of the Sabbat. Those who do attempt to challenge or disturb these solitary Tzimisce often find themselves facing dire consequences. At the core of Tzimisce identity lies their profound ability to sculpt flesh and bone, known as vicissitude, imparting deep spiritual significance to this art on a level that rivals the Tremere's devotion to thaumaturgy. They frequently alter their own forms, oscillating between the grotesque and the inhumanly beautiful. These transformations serve not only as a means of control and domination, but also as a clear expression of their disdain for more subtle manipulations. They prefer to command through intimidation and fear, with their engagement in this transformative art, also delving into its impacts on body, mind, and soul, giving birth to entire schools of thought dedicated to its practice. The Tzimisce are also widely recognized for their methods of physical and psychological torment, which are so deeply woven into their cultural fabric. They have developed their disciplines to assist them perfectly in their torturous methods. With vicissitude, they reshape themselves or their tools. Through auspex, they discern the weaknesses of their victims. And with animalism, they command creatures to join in the torment. But their mastery doesn't end at physical pain. They are also adept at manipulating emotions and thoughts, using blood bonds to warp relationships and deepen the anguish. Despite their fearsome reputation, they hold the codes of hospitality and etiquette in high regard, especially among their elders who remember times when such codes were essential for survival. These traditions ensure the safety and respect of guests within their domains. The act of embracing for the Tzimisce is rooted in ownership and control, with the clan treating both their progeny and their domains as prized possessions. This sense of possessiveness is palpable, resulting in kindred who might go to extraordinary lengths, even risking their own demise, to safeguard their belongings. Their domains may seem neglected, mirroring the Tzimisce's focus on ownership rather than the welfare of their underlings. This possessive nature also permeates their self-perception, leading them to constantly modify their own forms, as well as those of others. They strive to blend their consciousness with their environments, ultimately culminating in a form of supreme ownership. This practice establishes a clear dichotomy between the younger and older members of the clan, with the elders having amassed more possessions and thus more power over time. The Tzimisce hold a deep and intricate connection to their unique disciplines, manifesting their versatility through relentless experimentation. They harness the power of animalism to forge stronger ties with their domains, using it to either become one with their territories or to command swarms of animals for the purpose of expanding their control. In recent times, there's been a noticeable shift in the way they approach their disciplines. Some opt for auspex to delve into and manipulate the minds of their prey, whereas a growing number of the clan's younger members are leaning towards dominate, utilizing their mental prowess to secure resources and create fiercely loyal followers. The Tzimisce are renowned for their mastery of vicissitude, a unique discipline that allows them to sculpt flesh and bone with unrivaled precision. While this discipline may share some similarities with the Gangrel's Protean and certain aspects of the Ministry's Serpentis, vicissitude is rooted in something much darker. To wield vicissitude, physical contact is required, and the alterations it makes are often permanent. They employ this power to create battle-hardened ghouls and the formidable Vojd, creatures of immense strength capable of standing against werewolves. Vicissitude is marked by its versatility, enabling Tzimisce to make both subtle and drastic changes. It is thought to function like a virus, potentially spreading through contact with blood. Despite its widespread use, the full extent of vicissitude's capabilities remains unknown, even to the most seasoned practitioners. The effects of this discipline can range from grotesque and fear-inducing modifications to transformations that embody the clan's beliefs in their own superiority and their quest for transcendence. At times, vicissitude can operate on its own accord, influenced by the emotions or environment of the user. The effects of Kupala's night continued to ripple through the Tzimisce clan, subtly influencing their behavior and connections to the world. While they are not strictly tethered to the Carpathians, each member of the clan finds themselves inexplicably linked to a specific entity. This could manifest as a physical location, a group of individuals, a particular organization, or even a concept. To sustain their existence and ensure their well-being, Tzimisce must spend their restful hours enveloped by this chosen entity. For some, this connection can be maintained with relative ease. They might carry a small piece of their bonded entity with them as they traverse the world. However, others find that their bond requires them to stay in close proximity to their charge, effectively anchoring them to a particular area. This phenomenon leads many within the Tzimisce clan to adopt a more sedentary lifestyle, often preferring solitude and the quiet of isolation over the hustle and bustle of kindred society. In addition to these bonds, the Tzimisce also exhibit a unique inclination towards possession. Periodically, they may be consumed by an overpowering need to acquire something within their immediate vicinity. This desired object could take any form, from a tangible item, a stretch of land, or even a person. But once the desire takes hold, it monopolizes their focus, making it a challenge to concentrate on anything else until the object of their obsession is securely within their grasp. Over time, these tendencies have earned the Tzimisce clan the moniker of Dragon, drawing a parallel to the ancient mythical creatures known for their vast hoards of treasures. Indeed, many elder Tzimisce have amassed impressive collections of valuables and curiosities, tangible representations of their compulsive need to gather and possess, spanning across generations. Steer away from the Tzimisce, fledgling. They've distanced themselves from any semblance of humanity, making them unpredictable and hard to decipher. Their reign over the Carpathian Mountains has been marked by relentless battles against the formidable werewolves, showcasing a strength that few possess. Should you find yourself with no alternative but to confront them, be strategic. Target their sanctuary, weakening their defenses by eliminating their ghouls first. Only then, once their protection is compromised, should you dare to face them in their own lair. Approach with caution, for they are not to be trifled with. The Ventrue are a proud line of kings and lords. They work hard to maintain a reputation for honor and genteel behavior, and are the de facto leadership within the Camarilla. They have held influence over historical figures and major events throughout history, playing the role of kingmaker among both mortals and kindred. Despite their pompous attitude and the criticism it draws from other clans, they balance ancient traditions with modern power, controlling vast wealth and influence. They hold a deep reverence for history, utilizing it as a cornerstone to uphold their claims of authority. They draw power from the grandeur of myths, sometimes valuing these narratives over the actual truth. Their rich history is adorned with tales of triumphs and significant accomplishments, all traced back to their progenitor, Ventrue. The clan believes Ventrue was the inaugural progenitor of the third generation, selected by Caine himself to serve as a counselor and leader. Ventrue is also lauded as the founder and sovereign of the second city, with numerous members within the clan boasting of his accomplishment in diablerizing a member of the second generation, thus elevating him to their ranks. The Ventrue played a crucial role in the ascension of Sparta, positioning themselves as benevolent deities and patrons to the city. Even after the fall of Sparta, the Ventrue clan thrived during the rise of Rome, subtly influencing events from behind the scenes. When Rome fell, the Ventrue relocated, using their influence to shape the feudal systems of medieval Europe, particularly in the Frankish states and later the Holy Roman Empire. As their power grew, they established new centers of power in Italy, opposing the dominant Lasombra and expanding their influence through trade and the Crusades. The Ventrue were instrumental in founding the Camarilla, establishing a socio-political structure that favored their control. Despite internal conflicts and misjudgments, the Ventrue have steadfastly aimed to guide both kindred and mortal societies. They believe that ruling is a burdensome duty undertaken to prevent far worse horrors from taking power. The Ventrue clan is highly organized and hierarchical, taking pride in a well-defined structure where each member knows their place and role. Advancement within the clan is based on acquiring dignitas, an honorific system that allows for flexibility and the recognition of talents. The system is inspired by the Roman Republic, although its democratic aspects have been removed. At the global level, the clan is led by the Ephorate, which resolves internal disputes, selects the Camarilla Inner Circle representative, and maintains clan unity. The Strategoi enforce the Ephorate's dominance across regions, with lictors as specialized agents. Within cities, they organize into the Brujah, or board, which manages the clan's local business and political interests. The board is led by the Praetor, supported by aediles, questors, and the common Ventrue members known as Iren. The clan has a rich history of nobility, class, and culture spanning 5 millennia, reflected in their complex etiquette, particularly in Europe. Although things are somewhat more relaxed in the New World, they still uphold a high standard of politeness and formality. This is not just about tradition, it is a practical necessity to prevent conflicts, given the Kindred's propensity for holding grudges and reacting strongly to insults. Politeness helps to maintain social harmony and ensure survival within the clan, which values tradition and has an extensive, albeit unwritten code of conduct governing everything from appropriate attire to gift-giving. The Ventrue embraces only individuals deemed worthy, typically nobles, religious leaders, and military men. Those who fail to meet the clan standards post-embrace face ostracization and limited opportunities. The embrace process includes extensive consultation with elders and a rigorous training regimen known as the Agoge. This regimen tests the fledglings' knowledge of Ventrue traditions and etiquette, as well as their ability to navigate kindred society. Upon completing the Agoge, the fledgling must establish a domain of influence independently, demonstrating their worthiness to the clan. Success leads to a formal introduction before the local Ventrue board, where the fledgling recounts their achievements and knowledge of clan traditions. The board then votes on their acceptance, a formality as approval is customarily secured prior. The final step involves ritual questions and a pledge to uphold clan and Camarilla traditions. The Ventrue take pride in their leadership role within the Camarilla, holding numerous positions of power. They believe in their right to rule all kindred. Their emphasis on tradition and lineage influences their choice of whom to embrace, as it impacts the sire's standing within the clan. In the current era, the Ventrue are cautious, operating behind the scenes as bankers, shadow directors, and other influential roles, acknowledging the necessity of concealing their influence to avoid masquerade breaches. While they are the establishment, setting, and enforcing rules, their critics view them as tyrants. However, their role is crucial in upholding the masquerade and the stability of the Camarilla. The clan wields powers that align seamlessly with their commanding nature. They exert influence and dominance both in social spheres and on the fields of conflict, balancing fear and respect in equal measure. The clan holds the discipline of dominate in high regard, utilizing it primarily for exerting control over lesser beings and humans. This power becomes a pivotal tool in managing feeding rituals, either by compelling a willing subject or erasing memories post-feeding, all while meticulously upholding the masquerade. In their domains, they employ the discipline of presence to foster allegiance and admiration, ensuring a steadfast loyalty to their reign. This power also draws in their prey effortlessly, showcasing their prowess in securing sustenance without unnecessary complications. The efficiency gained through presence allows the Ventrue to conserve valuable time and resources during their hunts. On the battlefield, they are nothing short of formidable, with a history of dominance. Fortitude transforms them into resilient knights and justicars within the Camarilla, capable of maintaining their influence under duress. This discipline grants them unparalleled endurance, enabling them to withstand physical challenges and adverse conditions. Every clan member is bound by a unique and involuntary blood preference, a combination of physical and psychological triggers that become evident during early feeding attempts. This specialized preference is not a matter of choice, and it quickly becomes clear to the fledgling Ventrue, rendering any other type of blood not only unsatisfying, but also violently rejected by their body. While this selective feeding habit can lead to ridicule from other kindred, and certainly presents its own set of challenges, some members view it as a lesser burden compared to the curses that afflict other kindred clans. In addition to their unique feeding habits, Ventrue are gripped by a compelling need to wield authority and issue commands, a drive so strong that they find no peace until their orders are carried out. Importantly, this compliance must be earned without resorting to their supernatural powers of persuasion. This internal drive subsides once another's obedience quells the need for control. The Ventrue carry themselves with pride and an air of command. They are intelligent, influential, and not to be taken lightly. To gain the upper hand, one might consider poisoning the well, disrupting their sources of sustenance, and creating vulnerabilities. By tampering with their blood supply, you can effectively disorient and weaken them, making it more straightforward to incapacitate and, ultimately, deal with them. The nights slipped away while we've been talking. I realize this is a lot to take in all at once, and it might feel overwhelming. Feel free to ask any questions you have. There's no rush. In time, and with experience, you'll find these new realities settling into you, becoming second nature. There's still much more I need to share, but perhaps that's best left for another night. While our unlife brings its share of danger, intrigue, and shadowed dealings, it's also possible to find moments of satisfaction and even a peculiar kind of peace. Our world, as dark as it may seem, has its ways of balancing out the tumult. And rest assured, I will be here to guide you.